ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you live to the picturesque Irish Hills of Michigan. The beautifully manicured Michigan International Speedway providing the site today for NASCAR Winston Cup racing action, the GM Goodwrench Dealer 400. After 20 events, take a look at our quest for the Cup. Just 264 points separate the top five. Hey, Musgrave is fifth. Earnhardt just 179 points back as Sterling Marlin's 21st place finish last week cost him 70 points. He's now 152 behind Jeff Gordon. But the man who's been on the roll is Mark Martin. Mark Martin has momentum. Starting third on the day's grid, coming off his Watkins-Glen three-peat. He looks forward to the second half of the season. And Martin led 61 of 90 laps a week ago, but he had to get by this guy, Wally Dallenbach, who had led 21 laps. He makes the pass at turn one, yes, and pulls off the three-peat. Mark Martin takes his third win in a row at Watkins-Glen and his third win in 1995 Winston Cup competition. He will start third today.
Well, you know, Jerry, usually about this time of the year, the Jack Roush team that Mark Martin drives for gets on a roll and starts making a charge toward the points championship. In fact, in the last month, they've leapfrogged from fifth to third place in the points. And, Mark, you now trail second place Sterling Marlin by only 7. You guys are just getting rolling, aren't you?
We're ready to go, man. This Valvoline team and Jack Roush and all the guys have been doing a good job all year. And the pit stops just keep getting better, and the cars keep getting better. And our luck keeps getting better, too. So, we look forward to going racing every week.
Besides having a strong car and a strong effort in the pits, you definitely need luck on your side. And right now, these guys seem to have it.
Well, 21st on the grid. Yes, I said back in 21st is point leader Jeff Gordon, who on Friday destroyed his primary car. Hey, it's the car he set on the pole here back in June, but a rain shower hits and Gordon goes bam, bam, front and rear of that car are gone. He's in a backup Chevrolet Monte Carlo, led second round qualifying, but has a long way to go. This Monte Carlo right here starts way back in 21st spot. Hey, can the point leader get to the front and make it work?
This is the car Jeff Gordon drove at the Brickyard, and this matches his worst qualifying run at the season. At Loudon, he crashed in qualifying, was second round fastest, started 21st, and won. Jeff, the question is, can you protect the points and get to the front again today?
Well, you know, we're going to try our best. I mean, we're not where we want to be right now, and we don't have the car that we would prefer to have, but we're going to make the best of it. And this is a really good race car. We ran second with this car at Pocono, and, you know, it was the only car that could keep up with those Fords on that day. So, you know, we got a lot more contenders to worry about today, I guarantee you. But, you know, I think God's looking over us, and these Rainbow Warriors, they step up to the plate when we're down. So I think we're going to be in good shape.
And they are the Rainbow Warriors, but this morning, Crew Chief Ray Everham told me you can refer to us as the Rainbow Warriors today.
Eighth on the grid is the man they call the Intimidator, seven-time Winston Cup champion Dale Earnhardt, who at this time of year is accustomed to being the hunted. Now he finds himself the hunter, and it didn't get much better last week at Watkins-Glen. Watch this, bam! Mike Waltrip and Earnhardt come together in turn one, but the transmission was the problem that cost Earnhardt a good finish. In fact, he finished way back in 23rd spot, cost him some points, and he knows also that Michigan has not been much kinder to him.
That's exactly right, Jerry. In fact, what Earnhardt's teammates seem to feel is over the next few stretches, we get to the short tracks, they're going to make a big move in the points. But Dale, as Jerry said here at Michigan, the last two races have not exactly been kind to you, but you guys got a pretty good car here for today, don't you?
Well, we hope so. It's the same car we had at Indy, and feel good about our chances. Our car's running good in practice, about like any other Chevrolet. Labonte, I think, is the fastest one, but we'll see what we can do with him. I think we'll be okay.
That's the thoughts of Dale Earnhardt. He goes off the line 8th today.
There you see the front row. Bobby Labonte, the winner in June, on the pole, and Ricky Rudd, who had a very fast car, crashed in June on the outside. But Ned, I think there's going to be a lot of competition from the back. We saw Jeff Gordon back in 21st. How about Dale Jarrett, 17th? Great run yesterday, had to learn something. And Rusty Wallace starts 24th. He started 24th in Indy, took him 69 laps to take the lead. He's going to be tough today.
And Indy is awfully tough to pass on. In fact, when we were here in June, this track was tough to pass on, too. It had just been really newly repaved. It was a one-groove racetrack. But now, we saw yesterday in the Busch race, they can run side by side, so it's going to make it easier for those drivers back in the pack to come towards the front if they have the car. And I think some of them do have the car, so it should make for some awfully good racing. Hey, I like that hat, Benny. Welcome back. Well, that is you.
Thank you.
And talking about Rusty Wallace, look for him to come up through the pack.
This is the captain, the car that is, the driver is Rusty Wallace. This car has been to victory lane here. This man has been a bullet on the racetrack the last 2 weeks. His problems have been on pit road. You start 24th today, Rusty. Your crew chief, Robin Pemberton, told me you get a good rhythm going when you start back here. Can you get the captain to the front today?
He puts a lot of pressure on me, doesn't he? He's a great crew chief, man, I'll tell you. But yeah, he's got the car handling good. Him and Todd got it handled really good. I'm real happy with it. I'm just starting back here again, but he keeps telling me, hey, man, you started 24th in Indy, you did good. You said every time you start back, we like watching you come to the front. I keep telling them, man, you put too much pressure on me. So I'm going to do the best job I can. I got a good horse underneath me today. Just got to drive smart and stay out of traffic, crashes and all that.
That's a Penske driver in a Penske car at a Penske track. Let's go to John Kernan.
Well, yesterday when we left you here in the Busch race, Dale Jarrett was celebrating in victory lane, but in post-race inspection, a problem with the intake manifold. They took the win away, dropped him all the way back to 42nd. And this morning, the Robert Yates crew had to do some modifications to the intake manifold on this car. But Dale, you were awfully strong in the final practice yesterday. Does what happened in the Busch race yesterday affect you at all today?
Well, it really shouldn't. If anything, it's made us more determined to show that, we are for real. That wasn't what won us the race yesterday. What they've made us do this morning won't be what keeps us from winning today. I think we've got a really good car, this Texaco Haflin Mack Tools Ford. See if we can take it to the front.
And, Jerry, that's what everybody says. They said this car is still one to beat today. It goes off the line 17th.
And, John, no doubt about that. That car starts way back in 17th spot. And I'm sure Dale Jarrett is disappointed, but the disappointment he's experiencing pales in comparison to what the Robert Yates team felt 1 year ago. In fact, August 20th, 1994, 1 year ago today, their driver, Ernie Irvin, had a horrific crash right here at Michigan in Turn 2, fought for his life for 24 hours, and is on his way back. And we know Ernie's watching. Ernie will be back very soon. We're waiting for that announcement anytime from Ernie Irvin. Speaking about coming back, hey, we mentioned that Benny Parsons is back. That's why all these sandwich wrappers are all over the floor around us. We know Benny's back and after eye surgery last weekend, but we are missing one of our team. Bob Jenkins, we know you're watching at home, and all of us at ESPN send our condolences to you, Pam, and all your family on your loss, a death in your family. When we come back, we'll take a look at the starting lineup and have the green flag on stop number 21 of 28 on the $38 million NASCAR Winston Cup Tour. Stay with us. Our speed road coverage of the Goodwrench 400 is being brought to you by Allied Signals Autolite Spark Plugs, guaranteed for 2 years no matter how far you go. By Chevrolet, one car company has won more races in the history of NASCAR, genuine Chevrolet. By Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. And by NASCAR 94 Year in Review. To order, call 800-71-NASCAR. Take a look at this 2-mile racetrack that we're getting set to race for 400 miles, 2-mile oval, front straightaway, 3,600 feet, back stretch 2,242 feet, and we got a car puffing smoke here on the pace lap.
Michael Waltrip definitely has a problem with the Pennzoil Pontiac. Lots of smoke coming from that car. We'll check on it and see what the problem looks like. It's coming out the exhaust pipe.
Take a look at our race analysis as we watch the car number 30 puffing there on the pace lap. 200 laps, the pole speed, 184.403. It's an event record, but not a track record. Let's listen in.
The hood pin, so no more than 7 guys out there.
Okay, he's coming into the pits and say no more than 7 guys across the wall.
Mike, Rambo, myself, Tom, that's all we need out there right now.
Here he comes.
It was Terry Smith, the spotter.
Open the hood, Mike, get ready to jack up the side.
Got to have an oil line loose, Ned.
Right here.
Okay, let's hope it's not internal.
Back up.
And Kyle Petty has stopped, probably setting his steering wheel. A lot of times these guys will stop and set the steering wheel to get it correctly straight. Take a look at our starting grid here. 42 cars will start. Take a look at the front row. There's a guy who won here back in June, picking up his second win. Career win, Bobby Labonte alongside Ricky Rudd. Possibly the fastest car here back in June, but had a problem back in row 2. There is Mark Martin. Momentum Martin, they're calling him. Coming off that 3-peat at Watkins Glen. John Andretti finished 4th. That's exactly where he starts today.
Row 3, Brett Bodine, good run from him, and Bill Elliott, who gets around this racetrack so very, very well. Row 4, Dick Trickle, great qualifying run, and Earnhardt up in 8th spot. 1 to qualify 13, like he did at Indy, but he beat that. He's now 8th.
And in row 5, we find Jeremy Mayfield with another good qualifying run in the RCA Ford. Alongside of him, Kenny Wallace with a great qualifying run in the Ford number 81. And in row 6, we find Bobby Hamilton in the STP Pontiac and Jeff Burton in the Ray Bestis Ford.
Back in row 7, there is Terry Labonte, the Texan who runs this track awfully well. And the Daytona 500 winner, Sterling Marlin. It's a horsepower track. Watch for Sterling to be a factor today. Row 8, starting in 15th spot, Ward Burton, 5th fastest Chevrolet in the field. Starts at Hardy's machine back inside of row 8. Beside him, Ricky Craven got his second best finish, or tied his best finish of the year at Watkins Glen last week. He finished 10th.
In row 9, Dale Jarrett starting 17th in a car that some people are saying could be a car to win. Joe Nemechek on the outside of row 9. Row 10, we find Jeff Bodine and Elton Sawyer.
And, of course, in row 11, Jeff Gordon qualifying on the second day and late speed. Good qualifying run for him. In row 12, we find Bobby Hillen and Rusty Wallace.
Back in row 13, there's Michael Waltrip, the car that was smoking and is still on pit road having a look. Ron Puryear, the engine builder, taking a look beneath the hood of that car. And beside him, Derek Cope will start outside row 13. Inside row 14, Mike Wallace. He's flanked by Morgan Shepherd, the Wood Brothers Sitco Ford.
In row 15, Gary Bradbury makes the field here, and also Steve Grisman. I'll tell you that Jimmy Hensley also made a pit stop as we see 31st Ted Musgrave and Darrell Waltrip on the outside.
And Michael Waltrip goes back out. Robert Presley there in row 17 along with Greg Sachs. And in row 18 we find Ken Schrader, not one of his better qualifying runs, and Jimmy Spencer.
Back in row 19, side by side, Rick Mast and Hut Strickland. They will start inside and outside row 19. Row 20, provisional starters Kyle Petty for the second time in a row in this race starts provisionally, as does Todd Bodine. And row 21, Jimmy Hensley and Dave Marcus. Let's check in the pits with Bill Weber.
Well, Michael Waltrip has returned to the track. He came in, he missed his pit. They backed him up. He fired the engine. It billowed a big puff of smoke. They went in, changed the valve cover, and they have put the hood back down. Michael's back out on the track, and we'll get an update from Doug Hewitt, who's talking with a Winston Cup official right now. But Michael back out on the track.
And Michael Waltrip will have to start shotgun on the field. He cannot go back up to his normal position. He has to go to the very end of the field.
In-car cameras, we got a bunch of them. You just saw Rusty Wallace. That was Morgan Shepherd.
Mark Martin, also Brett Bodine, and Dale Earnhardt.
And the Family Channel car. Back there, Ted Musgrave and Jeremy Mayfield, who continues to get better and better in the RCA Ford of Cale Yarborough. Tremendous crowd, probably a record at Michigan. Glad to have you with us. Green flag flies, and Bobby Labonte shuffles that Chevrolet to turn 1.
That high groove worked good here yesterday. They had a lot of momentum as they came off the turns running in the high groove.
And here is Jeff Gordon and Dale Jarrett, the 24 and 28 cars respectively. Right side of the screen, starting back in the pack. Jarrett starting 17th, Gordon 21st. Heavy traffic. You see Rusty Wallace, the Miller Genuine Draft Ford. Hey, he made no bones about it. I'm coming to the front in a hurry.
Right. Oh, who is that? Almost crashed. Nemechek. Out of the group, almost crashed it. Did a great job saving that. Boy, Joe.
He really did a great job of saving the car. Right in the middle of a big pack of cars.
Got to imagine that speed probably right there, about 180 miles an hour. As you look out the back of the 21 car, here is Morgan Shepherd's bumper cam showing Mike Wallace, the Holly Myers Ford, and behind him, just sneaking a peek, is Steve Grissom.
Ever see Bill Elliott trying to get by Mark Martin to take over 4th spot?
Bill down there by himself with no drafting help. Draft definitely plays here at the Michigan International Speedway, but Bill Elliott makes the pass anyway.
Now we see Earnhardt. Looks like he's taking a look on the inside of Mark Martin.
Roof cam, Goodwrench Chevrolet. Earnhardt slides on the inside down the back straightaway of Mark Martin, and see if Dick Trickle can make a move in the Motorcraft Ford.
A lot of people were talking about the cars, the race cars getting tighter and tighter as they ran. So Mark Martin probably started this race very, very loose.
You wonder if that is his problem, because he's not getting through the corners the way he would like to at the moment.
Here's Sterling Marlin trying to make a move and makes the move inside of Jeremy Mayfield in the RCA car. Now watching from Jeremy's roof camera, the Cale Yarborough machine. Tony Furr preparing it.
Carlin this morning, and he seemed to like his car as much as any driver I talked to this morning. Sounded very optimistic with his chances with Kodak Film Chevrolet.
And the sound of that car is similar to what it was in Daytona 500. Got those different headers on it. Can't hear it here running right in the middle of all these other cars, but
that's 12th, 13th, and 14th right there as Sterling makes a move inside of Jeff Burton's Ray Vestas machine. And here comes Jeff Gordon. Folks, this is not the primary car they wanted to run here. This is a backup car. They actually ran at Pocono. Finished second to Dale Jarrett in July up in Pocono. But he is side by side with fellow Hendrick teammate Terry Labonte. In fact, trying to move by Terry and take Bobby Hamilton with him.
And Gordon does make the pass. Hamilton now tries to move on the inside. Terry Labonte started in the 13th position, so he's moving back just a little bit as Dale Jarrett moves on the inside of Ricky Craven.
There's Rusty Wallace moving inside of Elton Sawyer's Hooters Ford. Remember, Rusty started back in 24th position. Flicking them off one by one. He's about 4 or 5 cars back behind where Jarrett and Gordon are. There's Rusty Wallace moving in on Wardburton, who's just behind the Jeff Bodine car.
This morning, Ned, he made a huge chassis. Oh, I saw that blue car and I thought it was smoke. So he made a huge chassis adjustment on that Miller Genuine Draft Ford this morning.
So you have to be a little bit apprehensive when the green flag drops. Hey, did we make the right change? And here goes Jeff Bodine down on the inside of the Richard Petty car number 43, being driven, of course, by Bobby Hamilton. He had a good draft coming off the 4th turn and got it all the way down the front straightaway here and made the pass.
And back up front, Ricky Rudd's Tide Downey Ford Thunderbird brand new race car is showing as our leader. Remember, he is showing the lead, and the numbers in parentheses you see that coming up during the race will be where they started. It's Ray Evernham, and hopefully many are watching our early laps at Michigan. Back in a moment. Back live with our coverage at Michigan International Speedway in Brooklyn, Michigan. Got a Ford and a Chevrolet up front, first and second. That is Rudd and Bobby Labonte. A couple of car leagues separated. Bill Elliott has made a move to go by John Andretti for 3rd spot, and Andretti is 4th. But the cars that are on the move, have a Ford Chevrolet friendship race for now on the racetrack. Take a look at 24 and 28 cars of Gordon and Dale Jarrett, guys, are currently 10th and 11th on the field.
Well, make Jeff Gordon put him up there about 8th or 9th because he got by Jeff Burton between turn 1 and 2. Now it goes around Brent Bodine. Jarrett wasn't able to follow him on that. He followed him on every other pass. Now Jarrett gets on the inside of Jeff Burton to take over the 11th position, but those two drivers have been coming through the field.
There we see Brett Bodine, the camera from inside the Lowe's Home Improvement Centers as
Gordon takes another position.
Yes, he does. Goes by Dick Trickle. Take that spot away.
That puts him up in 8th spot. Now, Jarrett had been following through the pack. There's Dale Jarrett back to the right side of your screen, car number 28. There is Brett Bodine's Lowe's Ford Junior Johnson car. He is in 10th. Jarrett is 11th.
Jarrett's car working very, very well on the bottom side of the racetrack as he comes off the corner and stays right on the bottom of Brett Bodine. That's a sign the car is working very, very well. Now, let's go up front, folks, and you're going to see that Bobby Labonte closed up right on the back bumper off Ricky Rudd and looking 3rd place at Bill Elliott, then.
Yeah, he was pretty far back, Ben. He was 15 or 20 car lengths back about 2 laps ago, and there he is right on their back bumper. So Bill Elliott showing signs of the strength that he showed at Indianapolis a couple of weeks ago.
Now, our on-line field summary, you might mention the starting positions are in parentheses at the right side of the name, so you can see where they're currently running and where they started. Take a look at Gordon. Started 21st. He is 8th, but that could have changed. We've had about 15 seconds. He's still passing cars out there. Take a look back in the field. Some of the guys who are making moves toward the front. Might mention that the car number 4 you saw is making a move. Rusty Wallace also coming toward the front in a hurry.
And, of course, when there are cars coming towards the front, there's some that are going toward the back, too, because they had to pass somebody.
How about Bill Elliott, guys? Same car in Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And here is Rusty trying to make a move and making the move inside of Jeff Bodine.
But so Jeff backs off and lets Rusty have the spot right now. Racing for 18th spot, and Rusty, car goes up the racetrack. Looks like he's a little loose as he gets up the hill. Jeff Bodine tries to come back on the inside. Now he squeezes his lap between.
I didn't think there's room there for a car.
Guess what, Ned? I don't think there was.
I don't think Bobby Hamilton thought there was either, but he backed off, and they have now single file. Wise early in the race, just 14 laps complete, 186 to go in this 200-lap, 400-mile event at Michigan International Speedway. Ricky Rudd still being shown as a leader.
Michael Waltrip, the car that was smoking so badly at the beginning of the race, moves by Ted Musgrave. Michael started dead last, 42nd.
All clear, all clear.
Michael Waltrip's spotters telling him he's all clear to move to the inside. He made the move past Musgrave. That's the 32nd position. Now he tries to go beneath Nemechek. That will be for 30th.
Boy, he's cutting up through there pretty good.
41.05, leader, 40.25.
So he said that he ran 41.05 in seconds, and the leader was running 40.25. So that means that Michael right now is being outrun 0.8 of a second per lap.
And, of course, he's running heavy traffic back there.
And Bobby Labonte beginning to take a little bit of a peek, but Bobby can't wait long because that big M behind him is coming, and Elliott has reeled him in and just sitting there watching. If you're Bill Elliott, what do? Do you wait and let Bobby Labonte make a move, or do you go ahead and make your move and see if you can possibly do something with Rudd?
I think that Bill Elliott just kind of buys his time because he's certainly in no hurry to get by Bobby Labonte or Ricky Rudd.
Listening to Ricky Rudd's radio, so that's what you'll hear come in here momentarily. Ricky Rudd started second, is our leader. They have swap positions. Let's check in the Rudd pits with John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, you mentioned that Ricky Rudd brought a brand new car here to this race, and they've been having a problem fighting a tight condition all weekend long. They've been doing it mostly aerodynamically, trying to solve it. They've done a lot of work in the front fenders, and Bill Engel tells me that, yeah, they got that problem solved. You see Bill Elliott now going for second place as he gets around Bobby Labonte as they head down to turn one. And speaking of Elliott, this is the same car that sat on the pole at Pocono. And just a minute ago, I looked at Ernie Elliott, who does the engines, and Bill's brother said, man, that car looks pretty fast. Ernie looked at me, smiled, kind of shrugged his shoulders and said, yeah, it does look pretty fast.
You know, there's a young man down in the garage area this weekend that is great to see. Casey Elliott, Bill's nephew. First time he's been to the racetrack in about a year.
Boy, indeed, it is good to see Casey back. A ferocious battle with cancer, diagnosed about a year and a half ago. Good to see Casey at the racetrack. Here's a good battle. A couple of Chevrolets duking it out. A little bit of a reminder, reminiscent of Daytona. They may be helping each other a little bit, Ned.
Yes, drafting plays a very important role here, so they could be helping each other a little bit. They look up in their rearview mirrors and they see a couple of Fords back there. Mark Martin has dropped back a little bit, but Dale Jarrett has passed. The Jeff Gordon car has driven away from him and is gaining hard on Earnhardt and Marlin.
Now this two-car battle is 5th and 6th, and let's check in with Bill Weber.
Well, guys, a couple of laps ago, the Kodak crew radioed to Sterling that he was running faster than the leaders. He turned a lap at 39.90. The problem is he's good when he's by himself, but when he gets around another car like Earnhardt, he starts skating around a little bit. So Sterling has come from 14th to 6th, but right now he's stalled there. A little trouble with the Kodak Chevy when they get in traffic.
Dr. Runt Pittman said this is a horsepower racetrack. It's my kind of racetrack. Runt Pittman, the engine builder for Sterling Marlins. He pulls to the inside and will make a run at Earnhardt. Once again, Earnhardt is 5th. Marlin is 6th. And don't look now, but he has gone by. And now it is Marlin 5th and Earnhardt 6th. As Mark Martin being shown in 7th. And Dale Jarrett, you heard a moment ago, is now being shown in the 8th position.
Well, make that, 7th now because he just went around Mark Martin.
Jarrett started back in 17th spot, now up in 7th position. And here's a car slowing, making its way to pit road.
Brett Bodine, I'm telling you, the kid cannot catch a break. Looks like an engine problem the way he's coasting down pit road, but maybe it won't be. We'll see. Maybe tires in hand, maybe it's strictly a flat tire. We'll see.
Well, they're coming over to change tires. What about it, Bill Weber?
Well, Brett had reported that he thought the Lowe's Ford might be overheating. So he brought the car down pit road. They're going to change 2 right side tires. Now they have popped off the right side window. So they're going into the car. They have a crewman in the car working behind the driver. Can't see in there right now. Looks like it's going to be a quick change. He backs himself out. They're going to slide the window back in. Not quite yet, though. This will take a long time. Brett's bad luck continues. Now they put the window on top of the roof. Working around the right front of the car. Now they're going to lift the hood. They think they might be leaking something at the firewall. There appears to be some smoke coming from behind the driver's compartment. So this is going to be a lengthy pit stop, and Brett Bodine's frustrations in 1995 continue here at Michigan.
Here's a good battle on the racetrack, 81, 41, and 2. That's 14th, 15th, and 16th. And, of course, Kenny Wallace, Ricky Craven, and the car number 2 of Rusty Wallace. A pair of Wallace brothers sandwiching Ricky Craven. It's Kodiak Chevrolet.
So Rusty has moved from his 24th starting position up to 16th and trying to add on to that a little bit.
But I'm sure he's not very happy with that because we see Rusty Wallace going down in turn 1. Here's the leader, Ricky Rudd, in the middle of the back straightaway. And we'll see the interval between Dale Jarrett and the leader, Ricky Rudd. He was 6 seconds behind, and 5 laps later, he was 5.1 as Bill Elliott tries to take the lead.
McDonald's Ford Thunderbird, winningest active driver in MIS 7 times. This man has gone to victory lane, and he nearly comes together with Rudd on turn 4 and many. He still doesn't have him passed.
And Bobby Labonte, I thought Bobby Labonte would, but he does take the lead.
Car's still down there. He's still down there. He's still down there. Clear. All clear.
Rudd spotter telling him that Bobby Labonte was to his inside.
Hang on to it.
Clear.
Kyle Petty's in the pits with the hood up on the Coors Light Pontiac, and we see them. Looks like they're adjusting the distributor or something back there.
Boy, he's another tough break this year. Even though he has a win under his belt, he has a lot of DNFs too.
Bill Elliott is leading, and they got to be really happy in the Elliott family. There is Casey Elliott, his nephew. It's certainly great to see Casey here at the racetrack. In the early laps, 23 of 200 laps completed, it is Elliott, Rudd, Bobby Labonte, Andretti, and Sterling Marlin. Back at Brooklyn, Michigan, what's wrong with this picture? Well, when we left you a moment ago, Elliott was leading. But he's not now. Ricky Rudd is leading, and here's what happened to Awesome Bill.
Going down in turn 1, all of a sudden the car he just like the engine blew up or something, and he pulled over, and then those 2 cars went back. He started racing again. John Kernan, what's going on?
They're discussing things right now. Mike Beam and Tony Gibson have been talking, and also with Ernie Elliott. Bill had radioed in right as that happened and said, it feels like the motor is tightening up, but as you can see now, it looks like he's running back up to speed. So he switched ignition boxes and apparently picked his speed back up. We'll check with them and find out if indeed that is the case, but right now the crew stands at the ready on the wall just in case Bill pulls in.
Well, an anxious moment for Bill Elliott, the McDonald's team, coming off 3 top 5 finishes in the past 4 races. A 5th at Pocono and Talladega, a 4th at Indianapolis, and had just missed the top 10 last week at Watkins Glen.
I tell you what, I am really impressed by John Andretti. I mean, I thought that he qualified 4th, but I thought that these guys with no more experience than he has, they would kind of drive away from him, and he'd be back about 10th place car. But I tell you what, he's still in 4th place. It looks like he might be gaining on this top trio right now.
Yeah, he has picked up to him, no question about it, Benny. He was back a little bit not too long ago, but Andretti right up there on the back bumper in contention for the lead.
And here's a guy that passed Earnhardt just a moment ago, Dale Jarrett's Texaco Havoline Ford Thunderbird. He's now being shown in 6th position, setting his sights on Sterling Marlin. There is Jarrett, who again started back in 17th position. And if you joined us late, remember, this race team wasn't even here a year ago. They had packed up and gone home, and they were at the bedside praying for Ernie Irvan to be able to possibly survive that horrible accident on Saturday. So this track certainly, and this race, very, very important for the Robert Yates Racing Team and their driver, Dale Jarrett.
And Mark Martin, the racetrack is starting to come to him, Ned. Looks like he's starting to go back towards the front. Right, John Kernan?
That's what they hope. Early on, Mark had complained that the car was too loose for him, and he kept losing ground to everyone else. But as the laps have worn on, apparently Mark has stayed the same. Everyone else slowing down. Maybe they're experiencing a little more looseness problem than Mark is. But we would look for that team under the direction of Steve Neal to make a chassis adjustment on their first pit stop. And Bill Elliott, who currently sits in 3rd, I just talked to Mike Beam. He says that they think they've narrowed it down to the transmission or the rear end. Bill still says it feels like the motor is tightening up. So they're going to stay out there and run it for as long as they can.
Well, take a look at the on-track interval. Dale Jarrett still on the move. It was about 5 seconds 10 laps ago. Now it's down to, what, 2.5 seconds, and that is between Jarrett and Rudd, the leader. That's a top 4 right there.
It's 2.5. 2.5, 2.5.
That 2.5?
That's right.
Okay. We really missed you, BP. Keeping us honest here at 2.5, 2.5 in Ellerby, North Carolina.
Exactly.
170 laps to go. Rudd, Labonte, Elliott, and Andretti. And back there is Marlin with Jarrett just eating away at the rear bumper, about a car length and a half back.
And Sterling Marlin is gaining on the front 4 as well, and yet Jarrett is still gaining on him.
We see where he started 17th, lap 5. He was 13th and 12th. Slowly worked his way in right now up into 6th place and threatening to take 5th away.
If you missed our NASCAR Today show this morning, Dave Despain explained that while that show was on the air about 2 hours prior to race time, they were in the truck grinding on the intake of this car, number 28. And NASCAR looked at it and said, hey, we want you to change a few things. So they were in there grinding and changing and had to basically rebuild this engine. So you've got to give a call to Doug Yates and Robert Yates and all the guys on this team that put this motor back together. And this thing is absolutely on a rail like a rocket. Summary, showing you once again where your favorite drivers are. And once again, right side of your screen, the point seat where they started. Marlin back in 14th, now 4th. Jarrett making the big jump from 17th to 6th.
Ward Burton has moved up from 15th to 10th. Jeremy Mayfield started 9th. He's back in 13th. Rick Mass, look at Rick Mass, 19th, started 37th. As Jarrett goes on the inside of Sterling Marlin down in turn 1 and takes that spot away.
5th position for Jarrett now, closing in. He was about 2.5 seconds back, and the interval really shrinking. That is probably down to about 2 seconds or so.
No, it's down to about 1 7/10 seconds.
About a second and 2/3.
Get down to the fine points of it.
Jarrett and Marlin, 28 and 4 back there, Ford and Chevrolet. And here is Mark Martin, last week's winner, trying to make a move. Been working on Earnhardt's rear deck here in the Chevrolet. They are battling for 7th and 8th spot. Actually, they're battling for 7th spot. Neither one of them wants 8.
But Martin has it right now.
Roof cam, Valvoline Ford, Jack Roush car, Steve Meal and Company. Boy, what a job they've done this year. 166 laps remaining. 200 here, make 400 miles on a 2-mile oval.
Boy, there's a lot of guys just really wanting the caution flag right now, but they're afraid to think that, let that thought go through their head, because as soon as you do, you have one, and it's you.
Yeah, that's what you not want. Yeah, you're right, Danny. There's some cars that need some adjustments on them right now. And I expect we'd see adjustments on those 2 cars right there when they make a pit stop. They're not bad, but they're not as good as they would like to be. Jeff Gordon is about 2 seconds behind them. You'll see him come into the picture there, maybe coming off of turn 2, not quite.
Battle for 7th spot continues. Earnhardt and Mark Martin. Take a look from Earnhardt's roof cam, Goodwrench Chevrolet. This place hasn't been very good to him. He finished 37th in this race a year ago and 35th back in June. Wants to improve on that today. Back in a moment. Sunday Night Baseball coming your way tonight. 3-time Cy Young Award winner Greg Maddux and the Atlanta Braves. The Bravos travel to Busch Stadium in St. Louis to play the Cardinals. Braves leading the National League East, led offensively by the crime dog, Fred McGriff. Hey, live baseball tonight. Sunday Night Baseball, ESPN, coming up at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Front pack as John Andretti continues to be impressive. Tried to make a move on Elliott, but now that move may have cost him a spot.
Might have. Dale Jarrett comes down on the inside, and the Robert Yates takes it up forward, and he makes the pass. Ooh! Boy, he slipped up in there awfully close.
John Andretti has been running a different line than these other cars. He's been running a little bit higher in the corner, and it really seems to be working for him. Watch as Jarrett goes in the corner. He'll go low, and Jarrett goes, and Andretti goes right up to the edge of the gray stuff.
And he really gets a run off of the corners, too, by doing that. He has good momentum coming off of those turns, and has been shooting him down the straightaway. He stays behind Jarrett this time.
Remember remember John Andretti's finish here back in June. He finished 4th. In fact, he was getting such great fuel mileage. Tim Brewer, the crew chief, known as a master of fuel consumption, had a shot at winning the race. Didn't have the fastest car, but had the car that run the farthest on fuel.
Well, John got a little bit loose up there between turns 3 and 4 at that time. Lost a couple of car lengths, but he'll pick that back up.
Here's Bobby Hillin off the pace, Benny, slowing down.
Yeah, and while we were away on break, Greg Sachs pulls the Dean Myers car number 32 into the garage area out of the race.
Okay, this has been a great automobile race. A great race. And Ricky Rudd is still with him, but Labonte's right there. Elliott and now Jarrett has caught that back car.
Side by side, here's Terry Labonte on the outside. The Kellogg Chevrolet about to get popped in the Pop-Tarts by Ted Musgrave, and Musgrave now comes back alongside, makes the move. That's 23rd and 24th position, side by side action everywhere. Hey, here's Spencer on the outside, the car number 23, the Meineke car just behind him. That is Steve Grissom. What a great racetrack for action, side by side action. And the repaving job back in June, people were talking about it was a good job, but it was a one-groove racetrack. Not today.
Well, it's not a one-groove racetrack. These guys are moving in. We see Bobby Hamilton on the inside. Looks like he's going for pits. That kind of looks like a scheduled pit stop, man.
Yeah, they've run 42 laps now, so we'll see some cars coming into the pits here before too long. A little bit earlier than we thought they would come in, but maybe he wants to get in and get some new tires on that thing and make a little adjustment so it can get to going faster. Here's Rusty making a move.
He's trying to take over the 12th spot, and he does take over 12th spot. Finally, Mark Martin pulls up on the inside of Dale Earnhardt. And going down in turn 1, and Martin takes that spot away, moves him up into 7th spot.
At 7th position, Earnhardt just glues himself back to that big Valvoline side on the back of Martin's team. Scheduled pit stop should be about 4 laps away for the lead group. They wanted to come in about lap 46 to 49 in that range. Some might try to make it to 50, and here's the cars dropping off the pace, probably headed for pit road.
I think he'll be out of gasoline.
Jeff Burton, he was in that battle that we saw there just a moment ago.
Robert Presley's on pit road.
And Earnhardt coming down pit road as we ride with him.
Now, is he going to change 2 tires, 4 tires? What's he going to do?
This might set the trend as far as others are concerned, what he does here.
65 miles an hour. He's pitting the champion's pit position all the way at the far end of pit road. And Andy Petrie and the company will go to work, and John Kernan is next.
Well, you see him beaten down on the rear spoiler. It will be only a 2-tire change. I just talked to Andy Petrie a few laps ago. He said Dale had complained that the car was just a little bit tight. Jack goes down and finally get it full of fuel. Dale Earnhardt's away. They made the adjustment to try and correct the tightness with an air pressure adjustment.
2 tires, so Ned, is that going to set the tone?
Might do it. That just might set the tone here for others when they make their pit stops. As we see Sterling Marlin moving up on John Andretti. They are running in the 5th and 6th position. Andretti is 5th. Sterling Marlin in 6th place.
And Rusty Wallace has knocked off another spot. Now he is being shown up in the 9th position. Started back in 24th and has now moved inside the top 10 at 9th spot, having gone by.
Here comes Jarrett and the 4 car. Dale Jarrett in the Texaco car and the Kodak Film Chevrolet. Both cars coming down pit road. Bill Weber.
Well, guys, they've been talking about this. Tony Glover and Ray Abraham, they wanted to come in together. Jeff Gordon is a little tight. They played with the air pressure to loosen him up. Now Sterling Marlin is here in the Kodak Chevrolet. They may just do a 2-tire stop here, maybe right side tires only. Sterling on pit road. It's a 2-tire stop. The 28 car also on pit road. They're going to go up a pound on the left side tires there. Should be a 2-tire stop for Dale Jarrett on right side tires. And obviously, Jeff Gordon did not pit there with the 4 car, not ready to come in yet.
And Jeff Burton, the Rebestos car, was in fact out of fuel. They had to push the car to get it restarted, and these cars go back in, and Mark Martin is now coming down pit road.
5th place car, Mark Martin makes his first scheduled stop, and also Rusty Wallace will come down after that charge from back in 24th spot to the top 10. Let's go down to John Kernan.
Steve Bill and the crew swing around to the right side, just like we saw Earnhardt and everybody else do. It will be 2 tires only for Mark Martin. Rusty Wallace is also in the pits. We expect him to take on 2 tires. They have already changed the right side tires, waiting for the last bit of gasoline to go in. 13.1 seconds for Mark Martin. We pit road in just a moment. Rusty Wallace service finished on his car. He is down and headed back down pit road. And Jeff Gordon is making his entry onto pit road.
Jeff Gordon was being shown in 5th position, and Ray Evernham, Bill Weber, is waiting on the young driver.
And the Winston Cup point leader pulls into his pit, slides to a stop. This will be 2 tires, right side tires. The wedge is in the right rear. They're working on the right side, fueling the car. There's 1 round out, 2 rounds out. Waiting on fuel now. It's in, he's away. 13.2 action-packed seconds for the DuPont team.
They got a couple of rounds of bite out of the car. A lot of drivers complaining the car is being very tight. Terry Labonte making his pit stop in the Kellogg's car, one of the Hendrick machines. And that's the man they're waiting on right there. Those two, actually, the car number 10 of Rudd and Bobby Labonte. Here is John Andretti in the pits.
Boys, I tell you what, Ricky Rudd is going to run 50 laps. That's bad news for the competition.
That means that he can go 100 miles and make the race on 3 pit stops.
You see the crew member, something has popped in his eye during that pit stop.
Ricky Rudd getting ready to peel off, and he does peel off and head down pit road, both he and Elliott, as John Andretti made his pit stop. Here comes the leader, the Tide Ford Thunderbird. Comes down, Elliott about 5 car lengths back. They will both pit on lap 50, and John Kernan, he's headed your way.
Ricky Rudd leading Elliott down. I talked to Mike Beam. He doesn't expect to make any adjustments on that car. Bill Engel said the track had been getting just a little bit greasy. Rudd handed a nice cold drink. It'll be right side tires. Same thing for Elliott. Right side's already going on. There go the Lugnuts, waiting for every drop of gasoline to go in it. Elliott's work is finished. Now they're just waiting for the overfill to go. Seemingly take forever for Ricky Rudd. There goes Elliott out. A problem apparently with the filler nozzle for Ricky Rudd. As you can see, some of the fuel splash back. It's just not.
Go. Lay down, John. Go, Ricky.
Oh, man. Bobby Labonte had taken over the lead. That's really going to cost him.
I'm here.
And Bobby Labonte's in the pits, and John Kernan is there.
Jimmy Makar told me that they were a little bit tight, a little bit loose, a little bit of both. So they are making a track bar adjustment, also taking a round out of the left rear, waiting once again for the gasoline to go in, a 2-tire change, and there goes Bobby Labonte.
They did not fill up that 18 car. He went as soon as they finished with changing the tires, and they did not wait for the thing to get full of fuel. I don't think. We might want to check on that. And we see the 25 car out of fuel, trying to push it off, get it going.
Tough break for Kenny Schrader and the Budweiser team. He actually coasted in from turn 3. His car was out of fuel down the middle of the back straightaway, so he lost some valuable time. And once again, they're trying to get the car fired. They push it down pit road. Ken Howes and company, and the car as yet has not fired, getting a little help from some of the other crews, some of the spam crews. More bad luck for Kenny Schrader. My goodness, he didn't have bad luck. He wouldn't have any at all. The car finally fires, but he has lost a tremendous amount of time.
Yeah, it is a tough break for him. Now, after all these pit stops, guys, Dale Jarrett with 11.4 second pit stop has a big lead.
First round of pit stops are complete here at MIS. 21st stop on the NASCAR Winston Cup Tour, and Dale Jarrett is our leader in the car number 28, and there is Rudd, others working their way back to the front. Back in a moment. Back at Michigan International Speedway here in Brooklyn, Michigan. Our live coverage of the Goodwrench 400. Glad to have you with us. John Kernan, Bill Weber, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, yours truly, Jerry Pudge. As you watch our leader, Dale Jarrett, and here's the car number 18 of Bobby Labonte. And Benny, the big question just a moment ago on his pit stop was, did they get the car full of fuel?
It didn't look like that they waited long enough to. They looked like as soon as they were able to change the tires that they sent them out. But let's go to the replay and just try to see if they got the car full of fuel. We see Labonte going in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess they did.
Got it awfully close.
Let's go down to John Kernan.
Caution is out.
Well, Benny, to answer the question for you guys, I just talked to Jimmy Makar. He said, yeah, we got it full of fuel, and the caution waving out on the track. Not quite sure exactly why. It could be debris, could be some oil out there. We'll try and check on that. But Jimmy Makar says, yeah, no problem. They got it full of fuel. And you know what Chocolate Myers told me earlier this year. He said he only needed about, if it's done perfectly, 4.5 to 6 seconds to empty one 11-gallon can.
John, we are told debris is on the racetrack, and that will bring out caution for the first time. We might also mention that while we were in break, the guy who had momentum from Watkins Glen pulled his car behind the wall. Mark Martin headed back for the garage area. Boy, that could have a major impact on the point standings. We'll find out what's going on with Mark Martin as they slow down for the first caution flag of the day. Dale Jarrett being shown as our leader behind the Pontiac safety car. Back with more from Michigan in just a moment. Our Speed World coverage, the GM Goodwrench 400, is being brought to you by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. By McDonald's, have you had your break today? And by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We are driving excitement. Caution on the Speedway first time today for debris and wholesale pit stops. All 27 cars in the lead lap came down pit road.
But different strategies, Ned, as they came in the pits. We see Ricky Rudd, Bill Elliott, Earnhardt, all the rest of them, and Elliott only changes. They opened the deck lid and did something to the vent hose on Rudd's car.
Remember, they were having trouble getting the gas in it when they made their green flag pit stop, so I guess they got that fixed. They just changed left side tires on the Tide Ford, and out he goes. Let's go back to the pits and John Kernan.
Benny, you're exactly right. The vent tube apparently pinched underneath as they closed the deck lid, and that would not allow the air to escape from the tank on that first pit stop, so they consequently couldn't get the fuel to run into the tank. I just asked Bill Engel if they had got the problem fixed. He shook his head yes, but he's still discussing some other things. Apparently they didn't get as much fuel in the car this time as what they needed to, so there's a bit of concern for Ricky Rudd as how many laps they can go. We will check that out, and let's go down now to Bill Weber.
And I'm here with Mark Martin off the great win last week. Third now in points, but in the garage early. Mark, what happened?
Well, we broke a timing chain, I'm pretty sure. Just some days you break parts. I tell you what, we were real loose in the beginning of the race and called for a whole bunch of wedge. And a little later on, I said just a little wedge. And then a little later on before we stopped, I said, don't touch it, man. It's right. And the car was really coming. It was marching back toward the front. And I think we were going to be tough today. It seemed like it kept getting better and better, but some days you just break parts.
Mark Martin in the garage right now as his Valvoline crew works under the hood. They're going to try and repair this car and see if he can get back out there and pick up some points.
John, Billy Engel was talking about not getting enough fuel in the car. I don't think they got any fuel in the car on that stop.
Well, Mark Martin has not had a DNF, guys. John, how about did they get any fuel in the car at all?
No, right. Another problem they're having is with the overflow can. It has a rod that sticks out that goes in and opens up the vent. Unfortunately, apparently it's not long enough, so they're having to alter that and try to get that fixed. We'll have more from Michigan after this.
Half a lap ago here, lap 62, the green flag waved after a 4-lap caution for debris. Elliott being shown as our leader, but John Andretti trying to change that.
Going into turn 3, he moves on the inside of Elliott. They had just changed left side tires on both of those cars, so did Ricky Rudd. Got out of the pits first.
Well, this is a good place for John Andretti to lead the race as we see Jarrett down on the inside of Nemechek and Hensley.
Take a look at our pit summary in and out. Look at Morgan Shepherd. He was 15th when he came in. He was 5th when he came out as you watch Elliott go back by Andretti. Andretti 5th to 2nd. Got to believe those guys may have just added fuel at most. Particularly the Shepherd car coming in 15th and going out 5th.
Yeah, I think that is the case. Jarrett changed 4 tires, so did Sterling Marlin during that caution flag pit stop.
We'll see Bill Elliott coming back, trying to get on the inside, and he doesn't. He almost made contact. Meanwhile, here comes Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd on the inside of John Andretti, trying to take the second spot away as he and those 4 cars hooked up in a draft. Andretti is now back to 3rd place. Started saying a moment ago, this is a great place for Andretti to run well because Kmart and Little Caesars, both his sponsors, are located in the Detroit area.
John Andretti trying to hold off Dale Jarrett, but he's been so strong down that backstretch as he was yesterday in the Busch Series event. And he takes to go half one forward, side by side in turn 3 and just pulls away on the inside and will take the 3rd spot away.
Now remember, Jarrett has 4 fresh tires on his car, and that we'll see how much of a difference that might make. It hasn't been that long since others made their green flag pit stops and took on the right side tire.
Let's check in the pits with Bill Weber.
Jerry, this is an all-out effort for the 37 crew today. I talked to Tim Brewer this morning. He said clearly if they're going to win this season, this might be their last chance. It's probably definitely their last chance until they get to Atlanta. This is the car that ran at Indianapolis. He said they're better than they were in June. The crew has more experience. This driver has more experience. They've worked together more. He told me they expect to lose time in the pits, so it's up to their driver to be a little better on the track. And they're also hoping to cash in on one more thing. The points craze, Tim Brewer called it. The guys up front are protecting the championship. That gives the guys in the back a chance to maybe try something a little extreme and maybe sneak away with a win.
Man, oh man, Rusty Wallace got to be tickling that to be in front of this group.
Was caught in the middle there of a three-wide deal, and you don't want that.
That's right in the middle of that pack. Jeremy Mayfield from the RCA Ford. That's his road camera. Look where he is. I mean, they are just door by door. Looks like a pace lap at about 185 miles an hour. And now Derek Cope in the 12 car begins to pull away. There is Mayfield. And the 30 car, you saw him smoking at the start. He had to come on pit road and start shotgun 42nd. He has now pushed Ned up in the top, 17 or 18?
Michael Walker has just come right on up through the pack, and the Pensol Pontiac has done a great job. He had qualified 25th, but had to go to the rear of the field when he had an oil leak or something there at the beginning of the race before the green flag ever dropped.
There we see Ted Musgrave on the inside of Elton Sawyer, the Hooters car, as he tries to get by. Pulls on the left rear quarter, but he can't make it. You want to see the outside shot of all those cars. That's Dave Marcus on the outside. You want to see three abreast as Marcus gets a car loose, and they're coming three abreast beside him again.
My goodness, Jimmy Spencer back there, along with Robert Presley, the rookie driver, Leo Jackson's Skoll car.
This is the type of racing we used to see here at the Michigan International Speedway, and it's good to see that it's back.
Battle for second spot. A moment ago, Dale Jarrett made a run at Rudd, but Rudd pulled away. And look at Andretti.
In the middle, you're on the outside.
And that's Rudd's spotter telling him.
Clear.
Telling him clear. Now Andretti will slide up, and here comes Jarrett back.
He just kind of slides up front of John. So, see, John, that's how you're supposed to do this.
Well, John got him a good run. He picked up the draft with those two cars running side by side and just took off.
Here's Gordon and Earnhardt, a pair of Chevrolet Monte Carlos. Gordon then on the inside. You're watching from Morgan Shepherd's vantage point. Talk about a great race. Hey, little wonder why they pack them in here in Michigan. Standing room only crowd there at MIS. Watching great side-by-side racing action.
Earnhardt is 8th, Gordon is 9th. Sterling Marlin there in 7th position. Morgan Shepherd has dropped back a little bit. He was in 5th place at the restart. He is now in 9th place in the Citgo Ford.
And that was Earnhardt's view as he watches the battle between Bobby Labonte and Sterling Marlin while Ricky Rudd is on the high side.
Yeah, they're coming. Those two Chevrolets picked up in a draft on the inside. Ricky going to make the pass. Those Chevrolets are trying to charge to the front. You got 3 Fords out front right now.
There's 3 Chevrolets right together, the 4, the 3, and the 24. You were looking at Jeff Gordon. Between he and the first place car, Bill Elliott, we see he was 2.5 seconds back, and now he's just a little over 1.5 seconds behind the leader, Bill Elliott. As we see these Chevrolets going on the outs, and then Reddy is off the pace.
Yeah, he is. But something has gone awry with the little Century. Hits the Ford.
Oh, what a tough race for John Andretti. His only top 5 came here in Michigan back in June. He finished 4th and had a good shot today as you watch a pair of Fords battling up front. Elliott and Dale Jarrett in the 94 and 28 respectively.
Tell you what, if John Andretti does an interview with Bill Weber, says he broke a timing chain, every Ford in there is going to start shaking. You see 24 trying to get by Earnhardt. They closed up on the back bumper of Rudd. Jeff Gordon takes a look, can't do it, falls back in.
Remember, we saw the crew make a chassis adjustment on that 24 when they made the green flag pit stop. So apparently it's better to his liking now.
There's Morgan Shepherd. He is back in 8th position. That is 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th right there. You see Bobby Labonte. He is the 3rd place car with Rudd 4th, Marlin 5th, Earnhardt 6th, Gordon 7th, and Shepherd in 8th spot. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Well, I'm down here in the Little Caesars pit. You got a report that John Andretti may have dropped a valve. Tried to get to crew chief Tim Brewer, but he just went into a consultation with some of his other crew members. There you see Dale Jarrett looking under Bill Elliott, and we'll try and get an update here from the Little Caesars pit in just a moment.
Battle of Brooklyn up front, and Jarrett just squeezes by on Elliott. I mean, that was he couldn't get a piece of paper between those fenders, and Jarrett makes the pass. Elliott now in 2nd spot. Great racing here. NASCAR Winston Cup action at Michigan International Speedway.
Elliott trying to come back down on the inside. He drives her deep into the turn. That McDonald's Ford working good today.
It is working very, very well. We were talking about Ricky Rudd a little bit ago not getting the car fuel, and John Kernan talking about the catch can, the probe in the catch can not being long enough. This is a brand new car, and the probe is not long enough to resubmit. John Kernan, do you have a catch can that shows exactly what you're talking about?
Not only do I have one to show exactly what I'm talking about, I have the one. You can see the probe, the original part, came out to here. So when it would not work, Bill Engel cut off another piece. They taped it on. They strapped it on here with a couple of straps and then taped it so it'd be nice and firm. So now that will definitely open up that overflow, the vent valve, when they stick it in the back, and I'll have no problems refueling the car. And Bill Engel says they're not really worried that they can go to lap 103 on fuel. Let's go back to Bill Weber.
John Andretti on pit road, car in, hood up. I asked Tim Brewer if it was a valve. He just shook his head. These guys are very disappointed. They had a 4th place finish here in June, but they might have an outside shot at the big finish today. With 4 men working under the hood now, some smoke billowing out. Tim Brewer banging away in there, and obviously they may have gotten something fixed, obviously trying to maybe if a plug wire, but that's not it. John Andretti shuts off the engine, and his day looks like it's done.
What a disappointment for John Andretti, hoping to get a top 5 finish here, just like he did back in June. Dale Jarrett, our leader. Lots of fans enjoying the action. Hope you are too. Back in a moment. RPM tonight, debut Sunday night, September 3rd, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. It's a weekly half-hour show. Will include highlights, news, and updates from a wide variety of motorsports, and that includes reports from every single NASCAR Winston Cup and IndyCar race. RPM2 night revs up Sunday, September 3rd, 8 p.m. Gordon is revving up here, guys, in Michigan, trying to make a move inside of Earnhardt. They are battling for 6th position.
They've been going at it for a good while here. Gordon finally got a run on it, got out on the inside. Let's see if he's going to make it.
Yes, he does make it.
Record pace here in the GM Goodwrench dealer 400 average speed over 163 miles an hour. The record here is 157.7, so we're about 6 miles an hour above the record here at lap 78 of 200.
And we had 4 laps under the caution flag. Rusty Wallace started back in 24th spot in the Miller Genuine Draft Ford. We talked about that. He did the same thing in Michigan. He would be a car that was fast here. He is marching slowly towards the front. He's worked his way up to 9th place. He's trying to get by Morgan Shepherd. This is for 8th.
There's Rusty coming right at you. In 8th, and that's 8th position. Behind him, Morgan Shepherd, Sitco Ford in 9th spot. The 31 car, good run for Ward Burton. Andy Dillard on car. He's being shown in the 10th position. Right side of the screen, there comes Ward Burton. Good run for Ward, the Hardy Chevrolet.
Very good run.
Go ahead, Benny. He's about 5 and 8/10 seconds behind Dale Jarrett right now,
which is about half the straightaway. First straightaway, yeah, looks like. Jarrett's car is just running so well. There's Elliott. There's a 2nd place car. Bobby Labonte's 3rd place car. Now we see the 31 car, Ward Burton, the hardest car, has caught Morgan Shepherd. Trying to get by. This time follows Morgan Shepherd through the corner.
Ward's made up a lot of positions on the racetrack. today. He started in the 15th position.
Martin's car in the same lap. 10-4.
Morgan will
Get behind me, I can go.
He said inside, ready to go.
Clear. Okay, go see if you can get him to stay in line with us for a little while.
Camera from right underneath the rear bumper of Morgan Shepherd Citgo Ford as he looks back. This camera has the capability of revolving 360 degrees, and it's going to have to revolve about 9.
The other side. He's on the inside, Morgan, on the inside.
Sounded like Eddie Wood a minute ago. Talking to their spotter, Morgan Shepherd spotter, saying try to get a 31 to stay in line with us, but we can use the draft, but that's not going to happen as Ward tries to make the pass on the inside.
Morgan Shepherd has a sponsor next year, Citgo. Ward Burton and that team does not have a sponsor, so he needs to pass Morgan a lot more than Morgan needs to pass him.
Good point.
But while they're running side by side, Rusty Wallace is going to move away from them.
This battle for 9th spot, Rusty Wallace in 8th, beginning to pull away a little bit as they run side by side, and Burton gets a little bit slide, a little slippery up there in turn 4.
Stay behind me a little bit. He can show him he's on the other building.
The spotters are in 2 different locations here, and that's what he was saying. He couldn't get to him. He was over on the other side, so he would talk to his spotter if he could get to him.
Now, John Andretti had a great run going, was running 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all afternoon, but now is back in the garage area, unfortunately, with Bill Weber. Bill?
And a pat on the back from his dad and from his car owner. We talked on Father's Day, man. You had a great finish here, but not today, John. What happened?
Well, we broke something in the motor. We're not quite sure. We can't complain about anything. We got great motors. It was a great day for our team. Got up there and led and did it under green and did a lot of things. You know, I mean, the cars was really coming around. The team's really coming around, and we'll hope to get Kmart and Little Caesars in Victory Lane before the year's out.
You picked the strongest car out there. Now that you're not out there, can you tell us who might see Victory Lane later today?
I'll tell you, I don't know. I think Bill's real strong. 10 cars, for some reason, they're slowed down after the pit stop, so I don't know if they made a wrong adjustment, but 28 cars sure closed up on us and got up in there, so I think they got something for everybody right now.
Smile from John Andretti. He's out of the Goodwrench 400.
It's really good to see these. Morgan said, I'm going to let him go.
Yeah, they're losing too much time running side by side. They needed to single out whichever one. They ran there for a while side by side, and neither one of them would give, but it finally came time, and so Morgan, he made the decision because they were losing lots of time. See some cars back there that were catching up to them that were pretty far behind. Derek Cope coming up there. Derek running in 11th place.
And back up 4th, 5th, and 6th. Here is Rudd in the car number 10. He's in 4th spot. Sterling Marlin is 5th. And Kodak Phil Chevrolet and Gordon in 6th position.
Jeff Gordon has told his crew members that the car is a little bit too tight right now, so they'll have to adjust on that the next time they make a pit stop.
And we'll listen in on Ricky Rudd's radio, talking with his spotter and crew chief Bill Engel. Derek started 17th in our Fran Field summary. He is the leader. Gordon started 21st in 6th position, trying to go for 5th.
But with a tight car coming off of those turns, it just push up just a little bit with you there. It's hard to make the pass.
So Michael Waltrip said he started 25th, but he actually started 42nd because of that problem on the first lap. And Earnhardt, we are told, is headed for pit road. Yes, the roof cam on the Goodwrench Chevrolet, an unscheduled stop for the 7-time Winston Cup champion. Could he have a tire going down?
He probably hasn't said anything because our people haven't said anything to us. And
no, it's not a tire. There's something else. They're looking going under the hood.
Yeah, we see some fire coming out the exhaust pipe on the right side.
John Kernan is there. John, what's the problem?
Something happened in the engine.
All right, well, I just heard it from Richard Childers. Something happened in the engine. A lot of smoke coming from underneath the hood of the Jim Goodwrench Chevrolet. And they think it might possibly be the camshaft, something internally. But what a bad break for Dale Earnhardt. He was running in the top 10 all day long. Andy Petrie and the crew are just, well, they're beside themselves right now as they start to push. Petrie's trying to push Earnhardt's car back, but no, now they're going to take a look, check it out, but it looks like it could be terminal for the Intimidator.
Incredibly, this would be his third consecutive DNF at Michigan. He finished, remember, 35th back in June, had that accident in turn 3. Last August, he finished 37th, and if they can't get this fixed, it'll be his third consecutive DNF. In fact, he would now have 4 finishes of 20th or worse in the last 6 races.
Ned, you know why I knew that something terminal was wrong with the Earnhardt car?
Why's that?
Because he was speeding down pit road.
Oh, okay.
He didn't slow down to 65 miles an hour, so he knew that he would not be going back on the racetrack to be penalized by NASCAR.
Hey, guys, here's a car that's on the move. Rick Mast in the Skoll Classic Ford has now moved up into 9th place. He is just motoring right on up through the field.
And then he started way back in 37th spot. And remember, a year ago, Mast had a great run here. He finished 3rd behind Bodon and Martin in this race back in 94. But hey, John Kernan, Rick Mast is having a great run.
Yes, he is. And Jerry, if you would have talked to him yesterday after second round qualifying, you would have thought that the world had ended. I walked in to grab a little lunch with him, and Rick just looked down at the dumps. I said, Rick, you don't look like you're in a good mood or having any fun. He said, I'm not having any fun. The car just is not running. So they made some changes before the last practice yesterday. They weren't satisfied with the way it was running after that. So this morning, Rich Jackson, Kevin Hamlin, put their heads together and changed just about everything suspension-wise on that car. Also messed around a little bit with the fenders. And Rick said he thought the car might run well. I'm not sure he knew it was going to run this well.
Mast being shown in ninth position. Now, once again, if you're just joining us, Dale Earnhardt has something gone inside the engine. Apparently, we'll have to park it here. And if you've just joined us late, Martin, who was in 3rd place in the point standings, has also parked it. He's in the garage area, so our 3rd and 4th place cars in the Winston Cup points will probably both get DNFs today. Now, what about our point leader? There is Jeff Gordon's car, number 24. He had just gone by Ricky Rudd just a moment ago.
In fact, in the last several laps, he has passed Sterling Marlin and Ricky Rudd. He was battling, you remember, Marlin here not long ago. And here's how he did it on Rudd. Boy, that looked easy. Just turned her left, pressed the accelerator, and away he went.
Now back to live action. There we see that Jeff Gordon still leads Ricky Rudd, and Sterling Marlin is almost on the back bumper of Ricky Rudd. You know, a little bit ago, we saw Ward Burton and Morgan Shepherd run side by side for a couple of laps, and finally, Morgan said, I'm going to let the 31 go. Well, the reason that Ward Burton pressed the issue so hard was, look, he's caught Rusty Wallace, and where's Morgan Shepherd? He knew that he had a much better race car than Morgan did, and that's why he pursued it so hard. And Morgan now realizes why the 31 car stayed alongside him for a couple of laps.
Yeah, Morgan couldn't keep up with him once Burton got in front of him.
Dale Jarrett being shown as our leader as we approach the halfway mark. 93 of 200 laps complete. 107 to go here. Almost halfway. Jarrett up front. Elliott in 2nd spot. It's Ford, Chevrolet, and Ford. Back in a moment. Back in Michigan, it's trivia time. Take a look at this. Fan brought a picture from about the early years, pre-World War I, got to be anyway. And who is that, Ned?
I don't know. Surely that can't be Benny sitting inside of that car.
Sure
but I bet it is.
Is that GVP?
Sure is. Mount Clemens Speedway. That looks like about a 58 Ford to me.
Yep.
So it was after WW2.
Yeah, exactly.
Mount Clemens, Michigan Speedway. That was Benny Parsons, the early years. Field summary. Take a look at Dale Jarrett, our leader.
And once again, on the right side is where these cars started. Rusty Wallace started 24th, now 7th. Morgan Shepherd started 28th, now 12th.
Rick Mast started 37th, now 9th.
That's pretty strong, isn't it?
Hey, yeah. Michael Waltrip started 42nd. He's 14th, so Hut Strickland making a move up to 17th spot.
As you can see, there are 21 cars on the lead lap.
And we see Dale Earnhardt, the Goodwrench Chevrolet, out of competition. And Kenny Schrader, the Budweiser car, ran out of fuel like they never got it started again. He's back in 34th. And there is a fellow who hasn't had any problems so far today. He had some problems just afternoon about 4 o'clock, Ned, but since then everything's been okay.
Yeah, it did. Well, about 4 o'clock, everything was looking great on that back tools forward. He pulled into victory lane and celebrated and all that kind of stuff, and then got disqualified.
Well, he went from winning the Busch race to happy hour to unhappy hour after being shuffled back to 42nd. There's the interval. That was the leader, Dale Jarrett. And here's Rusty Wallace back in 7th spot. Now, Rusty trying to gain on him. One guy isn't going to gain much.
Oh, smoker, Derek Cope, the main and tail car, and Earnhardt is with Bill Weber.
And Dale is looking under the hood of the Goodwrench Chevrolet, and now he turns over here. Champ, I know you're disappointed. What happened?
Well, we feel like it's broke a timing chain or gear or something up in the front of the motor. They just diagnosed it as that, but the car was running pretty good. It's a little tight. Jim Goodwrench service car is doing great, but we can't have no luck at all here in Michigan this year.
You haven't had much luck here. We head back to the short tracks next week, Dale. You'll be happy probably to get back there.
Well, we will. We'll get to go out and win some races. This championship's starting to stretch out on us, but we still going to give it all our all, and it's not over till it's over.
Well, that's Dale Earnhardt, and he's still looking for some points. He's not going to get many here today, though, guys.
Well, he'll register his 4th finish of 20th or worse in the last 6 events, and that hasn't happened, I don't think, ever for Dale Earnhardt. So not a way to win a championship, trying to catch up when you can't finish. A tough break for Earnhardt, but Dale Jarrett talking about turning around a year. First half of the season, miserable for Jarrett and the Robert Yates team. They just couldn't catch a break. All they were catching was bumpers and fenders from other race cars, early laps, and getting involved with some accidents. But this is the same car they won with at Pocono, and the same car that finished 3rd at Indianapolis. 18 and 24 moving up.
Yeah, 24 is the one that's moving up on Bobby Labonte. Bobby had moved up pretty close to Bill Elliott. Now he's dropped back a little bit. But Jeff Gordon, after running behind Sterling Marlin and Ricky Rudd for a while, passed them, drove off and left them there. You see them come into the picture, and now have run down the 3rd place car. Gordon is, and 28 is slowing down.
In turn 1, very, very slow. There he is on the bottom of the racetrack, and the cars go by, and man, it continues for Dale Jarrett.
And we are hearing a spotter said the word motor. It's the motor, and you can see the dejection right there. Incredible that things were going so well, and they all just sort of stand there stunned as they watch. They're watching the television feed via satellite, and Dale Jarrett's got to be stunned after what happened yesterday, the great day in being shuffled back to the back of the pack in the Busch event. They dominated here, Ned. Had that kind of race car and have it go away at the halfway point.
Well, it has to be very disappointing, no question about it, because he felt good going into this race that the car was capable of winning the race. But you see it goes down the front straightaway, and then all of a sudden he just pulls it down to the inside of the racetrack, slows it down, and
then let me tell you something. His left foot was looking for that clutch.
Yep.
Because when that motor broke, he wanted to get the clutch in so he would stop the engine from turning over and breaking those pieces coming through the block and putting the oil under the tires and maybe spinning the car down in turn 1. So when something happens, man, you're hunting that clutch as fast as you can. And now here's our leader, Bill Elliott.
Pit stops are starting to pick up a little bit here after that caution flag back on lap 58. So they've run about 40 under the green. And here is Ricky Rudd. A little bit early considering he ran almost 50 laps, or did run 50 laps on fuel the first time.
Make you wonder if they did get it full of fuel because of that problem they had.
I'm sure they're concerned, very, very concerned about that.
And we are told that possibly Elliott and some of the others won't pit for at least 8 laps. Let's go to John Kernan.
Well, remember, Ricky only got fuel under green as they swing around to the left side to complete a 4-tire change, no adjustments. Whenever the caution came out, everybody else came in for other tires and fuel. Remember, they went in underneath the deck lid to try and fix the vent hose because they were having problems getting fuel in it, and no one stuck the can of gas up, so they are about 7-8 laps behind everyone else. We'd expect Elliott in probably about 5 to 6 more laps.
Well, we'll wait for Bill Elliott to come in and pit. Fans enjoying a beautiful day here in Central Michigan. NASCAR Racing Winston Cup stop. Back at Michigan International Speedway, pit stop starting to take place. Sterling Marlin, our 4th place car, just came in a moment ago, as did Morgan Shepherd. Marlin taking on 4 tires. Shepherd took only right side tires. Here is Rusty Wallace in the pit.
4-tire change. The right side's coming off. As soon as this moves on, the jack will go down. He'll sprint around to the left side of the car, and it'll go up. Now, A lot of drivers going to change 2. A lot of teams will probably change 4, as Rusty Wallace is doing.
And Bill Elliott will make his way, Ned, down pit road for his scheduled stop at 65 miles an hour. You see Dick Trickle pulling in. Here's Ted Musgrave pulling out in front of Elliott as Tony Gibson and Mike Beam and the crew wait on Bill.
You know, the significance of this, Jeff Gordon has now led the race. He gets the 5 bonus points, Winston Cup bonus points.
And Gordon will be coming in next time, but meanwhile, Elliott's in the pits. Let's go to John.
108 laps into the race. Bill Elliott comes in. It will be a 4-tire change around to fight the car just a little bit loose. Tony Gibson washing making sure he gets the windshield wipe. And one of the straps, there goes the chassis adjustment in the right rear. One of the straps on the windshield has worked its way loose, and Tony Gibson has to get out some red tape, some of that 200-mile-an-hour duct tape, and tape it down. Bill Elliott is down and away. Look. As Jeff Gordon makes his way, he has to dodge a tire on pit road to enter his pit stall. Bobby Labonte is also headed down pit road.
There you see Michael Waltrip going out of the pits as they change the right side, and that'll be a 4-tire change, 2 for Jeff Gordon.
And Bobby Labonte pitting further down pit road toward turn 1. They have changed right side tires. Jimmy Maycar and company now jack the left side of the car. 19.1 seconds. Wow.
We just saw Bill Elliott had a 22 seconds, so 3 seconds that Jeff Gordon has gained. But here is the real race. These fellas should be pretty. No, Gordon having the acceleration and momentum going is going to drive away from Labonte as they leave the pits. As a matter of fact, we'll watch, and the 10 car of Ricky Rudd is probably going to come out of this deal running about 3rd place. Now watch, we worry about him getting the thing full of fuel. Watch the catch can man start shaking his head. Now at the very back of the car with the tide cap on, he will start nodding his head. That means that the car is full. Yes. So now the catch can is working. They're getting the bin open, and the car is full of fuel.
And when he nods, yes, it's full, Bill Engel hits the radio and says, drop it and go.
40-10.
40-10. That was the elapsed time that Ricky Rudd ran the last time around the racetrack. 40.10 seconds.
That was Bill Engel, the crew chief, talking to the Tide Ford Thunderbird driver and car owner, Ricky Rudd.
And we can see just how close he is to Jeff Gordon. So it was a good move on Bill Engel and the guys' parts in making that early pit stop.
While pit stops are complete, we've got green flag racing action. We'll have more of it when we come back after this. A full weekend of racing gets cranked up on Friday. We go to Thunder Valley, Bristol, Tennessee, qualifying for the Winston Cup at 6:30, followed by the Busch Grand National Series Food City 250 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Hey, Bob Jenkins wrapping all up on Speedway that night, along with Gary Lee at 12:30 a.m. On Saturday, Dave Despain will take you inside and upside down in NASCAR today, followed by ESPN2's Lightning at 3 p.m. Eastern. All the short track action. Hey, back with NASCAR today, 7 p.m. Eastern time, followed by the Goodies 500 Winston Cup guys. Get it on at the High Banks of Bristol. Sunday, 7:50 a.m. Eastern time, the Grand Prix of Belgium wraps up a weekend of speed on ESPN. Can't wait to get to Bristol, Tennessee, Thunder Valley up there in Larry Carrier's facility. Take a look. Let's analyze some of these pit stops here a moment ago, guys.
We see that Bill Elliott came in on lap 107, 46.5 seconds. That's basically the time he came into pit road to the time he left pit road. And Jeff Gordon, 41.9. So a little over 4.5 seconds better Jeff Gordon was than Bill Elliott. And now he's probably the same distance on the racetrack. As he comes in, we'll watch the Rainbow Warriors. The car goes up. Now watch the left front. Jackman comes around. We see the tire carrier making that chassis adjustment. They roll the tire to him. The guy making the chassis adjustment normally would come around and hand the left front guy the tire, but since he was making the chassis adjustment, they rolled the tire to him.
Boy, that wheel exchange is really slick. He didn't have to even stop that tire. It just rolls right into position and just starts zapping those lug nuts, left front tires.
Junior Johnson is about as good as anyone I've ever seen rolling that tire to the left front guy. Just so casually rolls it in there.
Well, the young man who had a great day yesterday until the evening and had a wonderful day going up front today, he's in the garage with Bill Weber.
That would be Dale Jarrett. He was sitting here graciously signing autographs a few moments ago. He sensed change. Obviously, you're disappointed, Dale. What happened?
Something happened in the engine. Felt something as I went into turn 3, and
I started losing power, and then I looked down, I had lost the oil pressure. So something internally, it's a real shame. The Texaco Haviland Mac Tools Ford was just awesome. I tell you, it was just handling perfect. The engine was running great. We weren't abusing it, turning too many RPMs or something. It just wasn't meant to be our day.
You drivers really ride an emotional roller coaster. You have been on the highest high and the lowest low in the last 24 hours.
I tell you, yeah. You know, if you get bored with something, just get involved with NASCAR racing, because you can go up and down. But I think the thing that I've learned more this year is kind of keeping an even temper about everything. You know, we had a good race car, led laps, got our sponsor some exposure, felt like we could have won the race. Yesterday was an unfortunate situation. We had the best car again, and you know, we did win that, but it was taken away from us by a rules infraction that NASCAR says we didn't apply to or comply to. But yeah, it goes up and down, but I'm happy. Just unfortunate for these guys. They worked hard to get us a good race car, and I had an awesome car.
Dale Jarrett, always a smile. Back upstairs.
Ted Musgrave, and we see Jack Roush talking to Howard Comstock, and they're under the hood. So,
hey, 3 of the top 5 in the point standings having problems.
Take a look. Gordon, who is our point leader, is leading the race. Marlin is in 4th spot, but Martin and Earnhardt have both back in the garage area with apparently timing chain problems, and Musgrave in the pits. He currently started 31st, and he may not get to finish today. So 3 of the top 5 could be DNFs, and boy, how would that change the point race?
It would change drastically. It would change much.
The point chase, I should say. Rusty Wallace likes, no one likes seeing the driver have trouble, but then again, if you're trying to get up there, you want to get every opportunity you can. Rusty Wallace showing back in 6th position. He and Elliott 5th and 6th. They're running nose to tail, 2 Ford Thunderbirds.
Looks like that Rusty's been adjusting on his car during the pit stops. And it looks like right now that Rusty has his car running pretty doggone well. Bill Elliott been awfully strong. Rusty Wallace has caught him. There's the leader of the race, and 18's coming.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon got caught up in some heavy traffic there, and you can see he got by a couple of the cars. Jeff Burton in the car number 8, he went around him. Jeff being shown 3 laps down in 27th position. Now trying to put a lap on Mike Wallace, the car number 90. And the scoring is showing him in 19th position at the moment.
There we see him going by leg speed, the 18 car, the Span car. Yeah, Jeff Burton in the Rebecca's car ran out of fuel. Remember, it had to push him down pit road and never got the car started.
Yeah.
80 laps to go, and Jeff Gordon is a leader. Boris Gillette didn't have his good race car here, the one he tore up on Friday in qualifying when the rain showers hit. But, hey, the backup car not doing very poorly here, starting back in 24th and leading here at MIS. Back after this. NFL preseason continues on ESPN Thursday night from Three Rivers Stadium as the Philadelphia Eagles battle in-state rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers looking to get back to the AFC Championship game, but the newly acquired Eagle Ricky Waters adds depth to the running game for Philadelphia. Live NFL action Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann will have all the action from Three Rivers coming up Thursday night.
And nothing has changed. Jeff Gordon is still leading the race, the DuPont car, and the Interstate Batteries car off. Bobby Labonte is still running second.
Right up in front of them with Jimmy Spencer. He's being shown in 17th place. He's the last car on the lead lap. 17 cars now on the lead lap. So Spencer trying to stay in front of them, stay on the lead lap. They just passed Dick Trickle a little bit ago. He's in 18th place. There's Sterling Marlin in the 3rd position. And we understand that maybe Morgan Shepherd has dropped off the pace in the Citgo Ford. Morgan is being shown in the 11th position.
Just keep rolling long and then let us.
Evidently he's lost a cylinder because they said let's keep rolling as long as they'll let us. A lot of
caution flag.
Yellow, got a yellow.
There you see the car number 21. We are told debris on the racetrack as Morgan Shepherd's car not under full power.
Let's see if Spencer can get his lap back. Jeff Gordon has just passed him. He'll race hard to try to get back in the lead lap.
Let's see if Gordon's going to play hard-nosed with him and keeping that lap down. They always did me, Ned, didn't they?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they always did.
Spencer's trying, but he's not going to be able to make it.
Nope.
Second caution flag of the day here at Michigan International Speedway. Debris on the racetrack. We're told up in turn 4 here on lap 128. And Another driver in the top 5 who's had to call it a day. He's back in the garage area with Bill Weber.
This is Ted Musgrave, the other Roush Racing driver who's come to the garage. Ted, carburetor problems for your car?
Well, we're hoping that's all it is. It started out pretty good, and then all of a sudden you start losing power. And the further we went, the less we had, and finally started popping and banging. I could hardly even run, so our DNF record just may fall at once here, but the guys are working hard. We're going to keep trying to get this thing going here. The Family Channel car's been up in the point standings all year, and we've been really doing good, so these guys won't give up.
Neither will Ted Musgrave, 5th in Winston Cup points.
Guys, coming into the day, only 3 drivers in the top 40 in points had no DNFs. They were Mark Martin, Ted Musgrave, and Sterling Marlin. 2 of those 3 possibly will get DNFs today, and the only one will be left would be Sterling Marlin, who currently sits in 3rd spot. Pretty good breakdown points earned by track. Gordon, his weakness seems to be the short tracks.
If he has a weakness.
Yeah. He's only 4th overall in points at the short tracks. Martin, that seems to be a strength there coming up, of course, to Bristol, coming up in some short track races. There are 10 events left, 4 on the short tracks, 6 on the speedways.
Meanwhile, we're going to be seeing some pit stops, but they can't go the rest of the way, so we'll see if someone would change 2 tires, 4 tires, what they might do.
I expect most of them will change 4 tires here right now as we see Jeff Gordon peel off into the pits, and then Bobby Labonte and Rusty Wallace.
Rusty Wallace crew is usually very, very fast on pit road. Their right side is down. He's going around the left. Also, Jeff Gordon's right side was down, but Rusty Wallace is back farther than Gordon. So we see Gordon is moving, Rusty's moving. And there's a tire going across the middle pit road. Bill Elliott is going to take the lead.
Yeah, he beat them all out.
Sterling Marlin and Rusty Wallace very close. Who was to that line first? The white line at the end of pit road. Let's see that old tire. Loose wheel.
Somebody's right rear tire looks to be off the X-side car. Someone going to retrieve it. Jeff Bodine's team. We're under caution for the 2nd time today. Yes, you picked a fine time to leave me, Loose Wheel. Back with more from Michigan in just a moment. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
Inside Steve Grissom's car at Talladega. See the RPM indicator, 6,500 RPMs. Here at Michigan today, that RPM indicator would read over 8,000 RPMs. Here's something else that turns 8,000, the drive shaft. It runs from the transmission all the way back to the gear. And this baby is 50 inches long. You have to be very precise with something that turns that fast. Okay, the first thing we do is take the drive shaft, install it in a lathe and spin it over to make sure that it doesn't wobble, because you can imagine at 8,000 RPMs, this thing would be like a jump rope in no time. So, Roger, spin this baby. Anything within 10 thousandths is acceptable. We can see about 5,000 of an inch is all the wobble this drive shaft has. One more thing let me point out. If we can get this drive shaft to stop at the right place, it looks like we did. The drive shaft is balanced. That is a weight that balances a drive shaft, one rear and one front. Notice the aerodynamic sides to that, because it doesn't catch too much wind as this drive shaft spins at 8,000 RPMs. One other thing, the universal joints. They're using a new U-joint these days. Let me show you the difference. This is a universal joint of yesteryear. After each race, the teams would come in, insert a grease gun in there, and shoot some grease inside this universal joint to lubricate the bearings on either end. The problem, when you drill the holes through this cross, you made it weak. Today, no grease fittings. This baby is solid. And you'll also notice that it's much bigger, stronger, and larger. And with the increase in RPMs and horsepower, who knows where we're going? We might be back here next year with a continuing saga of the drive line.
And Benny Parsons, a little bit of episode of As the Drive Shaft Turns. Benny, thank you very much. Got to be balanced, right?
Quite welcome.
You're a firm believer that bigger is better, right?
Got to be balanced, and bigger is definitely better.
Well, we're under caution here. Thank you very much. Capacity crowd here at MIS enjoying exciting Winston Cup racing action. We'll be back. After a 5-lap caution flag, the green has just been waved to Bill Elliott, who was at the point of the field, head of the pack. He came in and only changed 2 tires, changed 2 right side tires, and leads them out of turn 2.
It looks like Dick Trickle is trying to get his lap back on the inside of Elliott down the back straightaway.
He's got a good run going in the Quality Care Ford, and he does get back in the lead lap. Only 2 cars are 1 lap down. That is Dick Trickle and Jimmy Spencer. Then everybody else behind them is 2 laps, 2 or more, I should say. And here's Mike Wallace trying to come down the inside of Elliott.
You saw Mike Wallace, the 90 car inside of Gordon. He is 2 laps down in 19th spot. And Jeff Burton's Ray Betts' car moving inside of Elliott. He is 3 laps down, and the car number 8 being shown back in 27th position.
We might mention the fact that Morgan Shepherd stayed out on the track, didn't make a pit stop until he led the race a lap. We have pointed out that he was having problems with the Citgo Ford, and they were going to stay out there as long as they could. He's not up to full speed right now, but very smart strategy on the Wood Brothers. Left him out there, and he got those 5 bonus points.
Race for 4th place, Ricky Rudd, the tied Ford, and here comes Rusty Wallace on the inside trying to get by. Sterling Marlin, the 4 cars. Rusty can't make it, slides up between the 4 and the 10. Now Sterling Marlin's going to try and find Rusty Wallace.
Side by side for 5th spot. Behind them, Jeff Bodine would be in the 7th position. The Excite car just on the right side of your screen. And the car number 1 having a good run. That's Rick Mast. He's back in 8th position. Burns way back in the back, a 37th starting spot. There's the car number 1, the Stoll car. Richard Jackson on the machine.
And Ward Burton also having a great run. He's up in the top 10. And Michael Walker, who started at the rear of the pack, he's up in the top 10 now.
I'm really impressed with Michael Walker. But here we see Jeff Gordon and Bill Elliott have been able to get by Dick Trickle, and now they're nose to tail for the lead. 94, the McDonald's car, the leader. The 24, the DuPont car in second, and that's not going to last long.
Well, Elliott was the leader and still may hang on as our Budweiser race recap up there. Elliott has led 25 of 132 laps. Lead changes 13. Well, may make that 14. There were 2 cautions for 9 laps, and the average speed over 161.470, and make that 14 lead changes as Gordon now takes the lead. Lap leaders, Rudd, Jarrett, Elliott, Bobby Labonte, and Jeff Gordon, as well as 2 other guys, John Andretti and Morgan Shepherd, have led a lap here at Michigan.
Rusty Wallace on the inside of Ricky Rudd takes that spot away, and Sterling Marlin comes as well. And folks, we don't see this much attrition normally at a Winston Cup race. A lot of cars out of the race today.
You see Mark Martin out, John Andretti, Dale Earnhardt has parked it. Dale Jarrett, who led the halfway point, by the way, here, and got the $10,000 from Gatorade, and Joe Nemechek out of the race. So a lot of attrition involving our cars in the top 5 in the points.
So Ned, that'll ease the pain just a little bit. Dale winning that $10,000 Gatorade money today.
Yeah, that will certainly help ease that pain of falling out while leading. And here's Bobby Labonte, dips down on the inside of Dick Trickle, trying to get up there to the leaders. Bobby in the Joe Gibbs Interstate Battery Chevrolet, won here in June.
30, leader, flag. Clear.
Somebody told him that they ran a 40, a 40-30, and Rick Mast is about to crash up in that high side. He doesn't do a good job, Rick. We lost a lot of positions on the racetrack. Now he's got to go back and try to get them back one at a time.
Yeah, he was up there, what, about 7th, now he's 11th. I wonder if something happened. Here comes Jeremy Mayfield, or maybe he just got high. And when you get high like that and almost crash, you got to drive easy for a lap or so. I
guarantee you.
Didn't know if you had a tire going down or what the deal might be.
He lost him wholesale and getting back one at a time. And Jeremy Mayfield, it's great to see this young man up running as well as he is, gaining that valuable experience. And trust me, he's getting some good experience today.
He's still on the lead lap, Benny.
Oh, crash spot. Rick Mast has crashed up in 1 and 2.
You wonder if maybe he did have a tire going down or something.
I think that was Rick Mast, wasn't it? Is that Rick?
Yeah, that's Mast, the car number 1, the Stoll car. The car abruptly veered to the right in turn 1 and 2 on the last lap when he lost those spots, and now he has tagged the wall.
Looks like the left front tire's flat, or the left sides are flat. Anyway, the race back to the line. Here we go. No car gets her lap back, and it's Elliott and Labonte, and Rusty Wallace has moved up to 4th.
3rd caution flag today, lap 140, and there is Rick Mast sitting in the middle of the racetrack.
See, the cowl flap is up on the car. Let's watch as Rick Mast goes down in the corner. He's a little bit too high, I believe, Ned. Probably got up a little bit in the loose stuff. And we see the roof flaps go up, and also the cowl flap comes up and sticks up, and some pretty heavy damage to the rear of the car.
Yeah, tough break for Rick. He was having a great run here today.
Another angle, looking at it from across the turn 2. You see him up between turns 1 and 2.
You can see that back end just went out from under him, and then into the wall he goes with that left rear quarter panel.
And one more angle of this incident involving Rick Mast.
He's up in the second groove.
What do you think, Ned? You're just a little bit too high. Looks like he's right there, a little bit too high, and he goes up.
Yeah, he might have been just a foot too high or something there, or I still wonder if maybe if he had a tire going down.
You got to believe that the lap prior to that, when the car veered abruptly to the right, he nearly lost it. There's a negotiating going on here in the pits now. The 28 car, Texaco guy on the right, they're out of the race.
I think they're talking about tires. Talking about some tires. Evidently, somebody's looking for some kind of particular tires. I don't know if they're looking for used ones or whatever, but Rick Mast walking away from the car, so obviously he's okay.
And leaders did not pit. Rick Mast trying to duplicate that top 5 finish here a year ago when he finished third. And the leaders not coming in under the third caution flag of the day.
Bobby Hamilton and the 98 car, Jeremy Mayfield, did come down pit road. Also, Ricky Craven, but who knows?
Could be a strategy move by the 43 to 98. We'll find out when we come back as Jeff Gordon leads here under the third caution flag of the day. Our Speed World coverage of the GM Goodwrench 400 is being brought to you by Kellogg's. Kellogg's Corn Flakes is proud to sponsor NASCAR champion Terry Labonte. By Firestone, America's tire since 1900. And by smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. We're under caution here at MIS. Third caution flag today coming out on lap 140. There is Jeff Gordon. He is being shown as our leader. They did not pit, and here's the reason for the caution.
Car on the outside, Rick Mast to Skoll forward. Backs it around, goes up, and smacks the wall with the left rear. We see the cow flap. I mentioned the cow flap coming up. One reason that they have the cow flaps there is to relieve the pressure under the hood of the car so it doesn't pop the hood off. And these cars spin around backwards. And there's the, hey folks, hi. I see that guy from Cadillac, Michigan down there. Man, hey there, how you doing?
Beautiful day for racing here. Great crowd on hand. Here's how they're running the field summary top 15. Gordon Elliott, Bobby Labonte, Rusty Wallace, Sterling Marlin in the top 5.
You see Rudd, Bodine, Burton, Waltrip, Labonte, Hamilton, Mayfield, Strickland, Shepard, and Craven. Those are the 15 cars that are on the lead lap.
Yeah, it says Michael Waltrip started 25th. In fact, he started 42nd as we see the next 30 cars. Ted Musgrave going back on the racetrack.
And 31 through 42. Look at the outs there. That's got to hurt. Jarrett out, Earnhardt out, Martin out.
Andretti had a good run going. He's out.
Man, look at the people.
And as you mentioned, Ted Musgrave said he had a carburetor problem. They were going to change the carburetor and get back out so he can pick up some points today. Still 5th in the point standings.
It's easy to see this is a Southern sport, isn't it, Ned?
They are packing them in here in the Irish Hills of Michigan. Standing room only. Great crowd and great action. Back in just a moment. Back in Brooklyn, Michigan, under caution for the third time today. Lap 140, we're saying a little bit of faking on the racetrack. Will they pit or won't they?
Hey, it's going to be a 144 when they come by. Lap 144. Ned, can they run 56 laps?
There might be one or two of them out there that can, Benny, but I don't believe if you're running hard wide open, I just don't see a run that far.
Okay.
That's 112 miles, guys.
We'll see. Yeah. 56 laps. Boy, can they do it?
Boy, Gary Nelson will crawl inside that fuel cell if someone makes it 112 laps.
Elliott looks like he's coming in.
Get ready to crawl, Gary, because here comes Bill Elliott, McDonald's Ford. He's going to pit. There's the car, number 94. 7-time winner here at Michigan. 6-time pole sitter. Winningest active driver at 65 miles an hour. Hey, there's Terry Labonte as well. But meanwhile, John Kernan, Bill Elliott's headed toward you.
And we're told it will be a 4-tire change in fuel for Bill Elliott. As far as whether they can go the rest of the way here on fuel, boy, that's doubtful. We don't even know if they're going to try. Mike Beam just kind of smiled at me when I asked him that question. But Bill is in. Bill coming around to work on the left side. We have heard some rumblings down here on pit road that Bobby Labonte could, in fact, go 55 laps on the tank of fuel. Bill Engel rolled his eyes at that, but Bill Elliott gets his quick service. He is down and away in 19.1 seconds, and I will check with Mike Beam. In fact, Mike, come here. You can't make it the rest of the way, can you? I told you, Mike. Guys.
That means they are figuring on trying it.
Well, whether they can make it or not, they may. What do you lose? You got to give it a shot.
Well, I mean, they're giving up a lot of track position, and they're getting back there where it stands a chance having a wreck, but they also stand a chance winning the race.
Yeah, and when he made his last pit stop, he only took on 2 tires. That's what put Bill Elliott up front. You got that track position, but he had been passed and was not that competitive. So, where he was going to finish in the top 5 or something. So I think it's a good gamble.
Jeff Gordon, our leader. Bobby Labonte running in second, still under caution while they're cleaning up the track over in turns 1 and 2. And Gordon looking low. Here are the Rainbow Warriors.
Now they've got only. Here comes Bobby Labonte. And Gordon wants to. He wants to. No, he did not do it. Man, he wanted to come down pit road, and that's so bad.
He did. I think they must have been telling him, no, don't come in, because he really wanted to.
Let's go down to John Kernan. Bobby Labonte's headed towards you, John.
Well, I don't have confirmation from his crew, but some of the other teams said, yeah, they hear Bobby Labonte can go 55 laps on a tank of fuel. So they will change all 4 tires, fill it up with fuel, clean the windshield. I mean, that is a long, long way, 55 laps. The left side tires are going up. What, Mike? Mike Beam's like hitting me in the leg, telling me something. They also make a track bar adjustment on Bobby Labonte. Be going green this time by. They finally get the lug nuts tightened. All the gas down, 19.4 seconds, and Labonte is headed back out to the racetrack. I got to go find out what Mike was telling me during that last pit stop. If it's something important, I'll let you guys know, okay?
There's Ricky Craven going out of the pits. He's still in the lead lap here. He had just made a pit stop not 2 or 3 laps ago, and so he came back in to top that fuel off, apparently feeling he might be able to go the rest of the distance. And not unusual, guys, that we see a fuel mileage situation here at the Michigan International Speedway.
Man, I tell you, if Bobby Labonte can make it 55 laps and Bill Elliott can, those two are going to be fighting it out for the finish if we stay green. Because these other guys are going to have to make a pit stop before this thing is over. There is Gordon, the DuPont Chevy backup car, started 21st. If you heard this story before, it happened early in the year at New Hampshire. He had problems on the first day of qualifying, started 21st, ended up winning the race. So it's a sort of deja vu all over again for Jeff Gordon and the Hendrick team. Great crowd on their feet enjoying the action as we close in on the finish here. Lap 147. That third caution flying today for 7 laps. We are back to green flag racing.
Jeff Gordon the leader and Rusty Wallace in second. Sterling Marlin third. Ricky Rudd fourth.
Jeff not having a lot of luck on the bottom of the racetrack, and here comes Rusty on the inside trying to take the lead. Got the help of his brother Mike Wallace on the inside, and Rusty Wallace will go to the front. It looks like maybe Jeff Gordon had some buildup or something on the tires, and the car did not stick that well down in 1 and 2.
This is the first time today that Rusty's led.
First time today. He started back in 24th position. And back in June, remember that race back here? The Winston Cup event, the last 10 laps of the race, Rusty Wallace was probably the fastest car on the racetrack. Just round the lap, trying to make his way back to the front. Couldn't reel in Gordon or Bobby Labonte, so finished third. But Rusty leading here. He pulls in behind the Jimmy Spencer car, drafting down the back stretch. And now we'll see if Gordon takes a run at him, but no, he will fall back in single file.
Well, there's Jimmy Spencer and Dick Trickle up in front of him. Both of those drivers are now back on the lead lap in 16th and 17th position. They'd love to see a caution. Jimmy Spencer about to go up left down. They can't help it. Nothing he can do about it.
Sterling Marlin back there in the 4 car. He's the 3rd place car, the Kodak Film Chevy. He's trying to reel these 2 in up there.
And how about the 31 car? He has moved up to 4th place now. He passed Ricky Rudd a lap ago and moved Rudd back to 5th place.
If you just joined us, Rusty Wallace being shown as our leader, started back in 24th position. John Kernan, Bill Weber, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, yours truly, Jerry Punch, calling you live, bringing you live Winston Cup racing action from Michigan. Now, Bob Jenkins is not with us today, had a death in the family, and certainly we wish the best to Bob and Pam Jenkins. I'll be back next week in Bristol, Tennessee. Bob home watching, and certainly want to send along our condolences to Bob and his family.
And Jerry Punch, of course, our anchor man here today. Happy birthday, Jerry.
Thank you very much, Ned.
They just keep coming around.
Well, they just keep coming. They tell me I'm 15 years younger than you and Ned, Benny, because I heard you guys are 40.
You're 25, right? All right, here we go. Looky here.
Ward Burton. The Hardy Chevrolet just blowing by Sterling Marlin.
And Jeff Gordon blowing by Rusty Wallace on the outside. Rusty trying to get by Trickle, got on the inside, and Jeff Gordon drove up on the outside. Here they come side by side, and Ward Burton is in third place.
Great run for Ward Burton as he contemplates his future. A lot of things been going on about where he would go next year. I think it's pretty well given that he'll leave this team. And
he's not hurting his future right now.
He is.
Ward Burton, 33 years of age, started back in 15th spot in the Hardy ride. As you see now, Rusty Wallace has gone back around Jeff Gordon and now trying to crank Dick Trickle a lap down.
But Trickle, he wants to stay in the lead lap. Rusty got loose. Gordon will drive by, and here comes Ward Burton. He'll do it too.
Whoa, they're 3 wide, and now Marlin on the bottom of the racetrack. And here comes the 10 car.
Boy, Rusty has got to be gritting his teeth. He was trying to get past Trickle to put him that lap down. His car got loose, and he passed him.
I'm not now. He's finally in front of Trickle, but he's closed the barn door at the horse car.
Yeah. He's in 5th place. 4 cars got by.
Goes from 1st to 5th and half a lap here at Michigan International Raceway. There's Marlin, who's back in 3rd spot, the 4 car. Ricky Rudd is 4th in the 10 car. Coming at you at 190 miles an hour.
Yeah, folks, when they go into turn 1, that's the fastest point on the racetrack. They get up upwards of 200 miles an hour on this racetrack. Ward Burton looking to try to take the lead.
He just wants Jeff Gordon to slip up. Jeff, just slip up a little bit, baby, and I'm going to the lead. Jeff doesn't slip.
Ward Burton's best finish in 1995 was a 9th at Rockingham, looking for his 2nd top 10 and possibly his first top 5 or maybe even his first win. It is Gordon and Burton, Marlin, Rudd, and Wallace in the top 5. At Brooklyn, Michigan, Rusty Wallace, who just made a pass a moment ago for 3rd spot, slips high, and Ward Burton moves to the inside. Rusty and Ward almost tangled, and Ricky Rudd got the best.
Yeah, he pulled up behind and gave Rusty just a little bit of a push in the draft. I don't think they didn't touch, but that pulling up behind him in the draft helped him to move on by Ward Burton. Rusty's running his heart out, back to last 3rd, and almost lost it.
Alan Dillard, Felipe Lopez, and the boys on that 31 car. Hey, you see Bobby Labonte going by Elliott, Interstate Battery Chevrolet, in front of the McDonald's Ford, and he goes high. Here comes Elliott back on the inside.
That's 8th and 9th position. There's your leader, Gordon. About 4 car lengths in front of Marlin. He's 4 in front of Wallace and Burton and Rudd. That's 3, 4, and 5 in the running order. Good run for the 43 car, the King's car. Bobby Hamilton, STP Pontiac in 6th spot. Jeremy Mayfield is 7th. And that battle you saw a moment ago between Bobby Labonte and Bill Elliott, they are 8th and 9th.
Labonte now trying to take away the 7th position from Jeremy Mayfield. As we watch Rusty Wallace and Ward Burton.
I'd mentioned Michael Waltrip, who started 42nd by virtue of having a pit for some smoke on the pace lap, is being shown in the top 10. Good run for Mike. Just joined us. Mark Martin has parked it with a timing chain problem. And we are told that Rudd may be slowing. Ricky Rudd, there's the tide forward and definitely off the pace.
Man, oh man.
We're just talking about Mark Martin is in the garage area with a timing chain. Dale Earnhardt has had a DNF. He will not finish today. He's back in the garage. And now Ricky Rudd.
Ted Musgrave, who was in 5th place in the points, is back out there, but he's being shown in 30th position, 31 laps down.
Rudd was being shown in the 11th position.
RCA car, and Elliott does take that spot away.
And let's check in the pits, in the Ricky Rudd pits with John Purdy.
Well, as Ricky Rudd passes the pits, it sounds like it's running on about 3 or 4 cylinders. Bill Engel has already started walking toward the garage area. Stopped him briefly, asked him what the problem was. He said, she blowed up. An engine problem for Ricky Rudd.
I correct myself. Rudd was being shown in 5th position. I said back in 11th he was 5th when that car began to slow. So a great run for Rudd, but it all comes up short.
Yeah, he quickly dropped to 11th after he had his problem, whatever it was. Boy, the attrition has just been atrocious here today.
What's going on with Bill Elliott, John Kernan?
Well, Bill Elliott, remember we asked Mike Beam if he could make it the rest of the way, and Mike told us, well, I don't really know when they're done. They're figuring, and they're only a lap or so off of it. So what they have told Bill Elliott to do, to draft whoever he can, try and save some precious fuel to make it the rest of the way. As far as Bobby Labonte goes, Jimmy Maycar's crew chief says, no problem. We can make it the rest of the way without any difficulty.
Well, I'll tell you something. I don't guess I'm telling you anything you don't know, but if this thing goes green flag the rest of the way, Bobby Labonte is going to win both races here at Michigan International Speedway in 1995.
Pretty much of a given.
And that would be a nice birthday present for Jimmy and Patty Maycar's queens.
It would. In fact, the twins were born a year ago.
A year ago yesterday.
You can see just how far that Bobby Labonte has driven away from Bill Elliott. And how far he has to go to catch the 24 car. There's the first 4 cars. Jeff Gordon, Sterling Marlin, Rusty Wallace, and Ward Burton. No, folks, Ward Burton is in 4th place and staying right on the back bumper of these fellas.
Hanging right with them.
Great run for Burton and A.J. Dillon, the crews, you said, BP. I mean, boy, they talk about struggling. And these people have kept their chins up and their confidence up. And what a nice reward this kind of run here at Michigan for that Hardy Chevrolet. Monte Carlo. In fact, Hardy's already mentioned they're not coming back next year as a sponsor, so they've been out looking for some help the rest of the year. And what a nice run for Ward Burton and the Hardys, too. 161 laps. That means 39 left out of 200 here at Michigan International Speedway. The Rainbow Warriors got to be happy. Their driver leads. We'll be back. And we are back at Michigan International Speedway. Jeff Gordon being shown as our leader. There they are, the front 4. Gordon, Marlin in second spot, Wallace, and Ward Burton. Those are the top 4. Good run a week ago for the car number 40 run. Equaled his best finish of the season at 10th. He had at Charlotte and also last week at Watkins Glen. There he is, leading rookie contender, Kodiak Chevy driver. Ricky Craven currently being shown in 12th spot, still on the lead lap. And Robert Presley is back 5 points in the rookie standings. He is in 17th spot, and he's being shown, 2 laps behind.
And Ricky Craven has a good shot at finishing this race without a pit stop. He was one of those that came in late, so he might even wind up in a top 5 here or something if he's able to do that.
And there, of course, is the Robert Presley machine. Charlie Presley, the crew chief, Robert's brother. Car owned by Leo Jackson. Back up front, Gordon pulling away a little bit from Sterling Marlin and Rusty Wallace and Ward Burton.
Yes, he is. He's put a couple of car lengths on Sterling Marlin in just the past couple of laps. Now, that's not a whole lot, a couple of car lengths. I said, well, that's nothing, but it is something. It's significant that Gordon is able to pull away just a little bit from these fellas. And they're all hooked up in the draft. If drafting means anything, obviously it should mean something now.
Now, guys, there's 6 cars that are running in the lead lap who did not make a pit stop on that last caution for fuel. And those are Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, Sterling Marlin, Ricky Rudd, of course, he's fallen out now, and the car number 31, Ward Burton, and Michael Walker. So there are 5 cars remaining there in contention that did not make a pit stop. This man did. He has moved up into 5th place. He's running about 4¼ seconds behind the leader.
They may have seen a little puff of smoke out of the 31 car. NASCAR apparently conferring, and we have not seen it as yet on our shots of Ward Burton. There's maybe a little bit of a wisp of smoke. We'll take a look at that Hardy Chevrolet.
Well, it's not hurting his running because he's hanging right there with Rusty Wallace.
Abby haven't seen anything yet come out of that car.
He needs a good break. He's having a great run. He needs a good break to finish this race.
Anybody who's doing a good finish, it's this young man here, Ward Burton, and the subject of much discussion as to what he's going to do next year. A lot of people wanting this young man's services, but right now he keeps telling people, I'm focused on trying to get us a good finish and trying to be loyal and get a good finish for Hartons and A.J. Dillon. And boy, wasn't today be a nice one. His first top 5, if he can get it, in Winston Cup racing.
Here's another battle for position. Jeremy Mayfield, who is in 8th position, and Ricky, that's Terry Labonte, in the 9th position.
Jeremy Mayfield has one career top 10. That's coming at Pocono, where he finished 8th back in July. In fact, that was Cale Yarborough's first top 10 finish as a car owner since 1992. But Cale really high on this young man, Mayfield and Tony Furr, the entire crew. They're getting better and better, qualifying in the top 10 in Indianapolis and once again here at Michigan.
There are 2 of the 13 cars that are on the lead lap. And as we pointed out, they're 8th and 9th. Mayfield is 8th. Rudd is 9th. Michael Waltrip is 10th. That's Strickland. We haven't talked much about him today. He's hanging in there in 11th place. Ricky Craven in 12th. And Jeff Bodine still on the lead lap in 7th place. Haven't talked a whole lot about Jeff today, but he's hanging right in there. And that side battery is full.
Terry Labonte tries it on the high side. Will try to pick up a little draft off the back of Jimmy Spencer's Ford Thunderbird. And Labonte looks like he will make the pass and take the spot away. That's 8th position. Here's the Hardee's team getting ready, Benny. Apparently,
I don't understand this. Then why are they stopping and changing tires when they can run till 10 laps to go? And they just put a splash of gas in it.
Yeah, they should be able to run to at least 12 to 14 laps to go.
And just put 1 can of gas in it. Now they'll put 1 can of gas, but they look like they're planning on changing tires. And,
I don't know. There's Morgan Shepherd still out there running. Morgan has gone a couple of laps down now. He's still being shown in 16th position. Lost a cylinder.
Well, we are being told the 31 car will indeed pit in about 5 laps, so we'll take a quick break and come back and catch what should be his final pit stop. Ward Burton in 4th spot. Back with more in a moment. Back at Brooklyn, Michigan, laps are winding down. Just 25 to go here at MIS and the GM Goodwrench 400. There's the leader, Jeff Gordon. Now the big question mark to see Sterling Marlin right behind him in 2nd spot is when will they pit and why? Now we heard possibly Ward Burton will be coming in the next 4 or 5 laps. Maybe we can check in with John Kernan. John?
Jerry, things changed during the middle of the commercial break. I talked to Philippe again, and they've decided they're going to bring him in next time by. They were going to wait for Jeff Gordon to pit, and you can see that Ward Burton is peeled off. He is heading down pit road. They will take on right side tires and fuel. Philippe said there's no way they could run more than a fuel stop on right side on the last set of right side tires. So Ward Burton brings it slowly, 65 miles an hour, down pit road for his final pit stop of the day. Felipe Lopez looks his crew chief, changes the right rear tire, 1 pump, 2 pump, car up in the air. Can of gasoline going in. You can see just a little bit of smoke coming out from some of the vents on the right side. Plug nuts tight, waiting for all the gas to get in, and 12 seconds flat. Ward Burton is down and away. A really good pit stop. And here comes Jeff Gordon to the start-finish line.
so Ward Burton will go a lap down, I think. I don't know if he'll be able to get his car back up to speed before the leaders. There comes the leaders. And we see Ward. He'll be exiting turn 2. Maybe he can stay in the lead lap. We'll see.
I believe he will be able to, Benny. You can get your speed up pretty quickly here at the Michigan International Speedway. Certainly better than Daytona or Talladega, where you have the restrictor plates on the engines. And remember, he has those fresh right side tires, so he should be able to run a little bit faster. Maybe this is not bad strategy coming in this early and putting on those new tires. Get the best out of them for as long as you can. And then when the others come in,
and Rusty.
Yeah, let's see what they're going to do now. If they're going to, they might try the same type of strategy. Let's go back to the pits and Bill Weber.
Well, we're waiting for Sterling Marlin, Rusty Wallace right behind him. I'm a little surprised down here. I thought that the 24 and the 4 were going to fit together this time. Not the case. Sterling Marlin is in. Rusty Wallace is in. It is fuel only for these guys. Both cars fuel for the 4, fuel for the 2. Rusty is away. Sterling gets the green light. He leaves 8.4. Rusty pulls up right next to him, but will settle in behind him at the start.
Now we got a drag race.
And it's Kodak in the quarter mile by about 3 car lengths over the Ford of Rusty Wallace.
But meanwhile, Bobby Labonte is still motoring around the racetrack, and he's not planning on stopping, right?
Yeah. Michael Waltrip has just made a pit stop for right side tires on the Pennzoil Pontiac, and
we heard Jeff Bodine may have slowed down. And there's the car number 7, last year's defending champion in this Goodwrench 400, and he's slowing down. He was being shown in 11th spot, and once again, that one-word response, motor. We've heard that a lot today.
Yeah, been a lot of motor problems today. Most I've seen in a long, long time.
Backside batteries Ford Thunderbird. Trying to get a top 10 finish. As you see Ward Burton coming by, that's the separation. Now Gordon is the leader. Burton coming back up to speed, has about 15 car length separation, staying on the lead lap.
Now, the good news for Jeff Gordon and his fans are that he's pulling away from Bobby Labonte, who has moved up into second now, but he's going to have to stop.
He's got to stop, and Bobby Labonte, he doesn't have to catch him.
And maybe Bobby is not just barreling around there every second as hard as he can possibly go and conserving a little bit of fuel.
Now, still, even though Jimmy Maycar, and I know he's your son-in-law, and even though Jimmy Maycar said they can make it, Bobby Labonte, that's still 55 laps is not anything to sneak. It's 110 miles.
Yeah, that's a long way to go with an under-restricted engine. But they have been known to get some good gas mileage on that Interstate Battery Chevrolet, and so I guess they're going to really give it the test here today.
Well, here's the 4 and the 2 car. Marlin and Wallace, who just pitted and came out of pit road exactly that way. Remember, the car number 31 had to take on tires. These guys had fuel only, so look what it means in track distance and track position. Here's the 4 and 2. Now, where's the 31? Waiting. Where's Ward Burton? He's coming. There he is. 2 right side tires by Felipe Lopez and the crew.
But didn't the 31, the 4, and the 2 change tires at the same time earlier?
I think they did, Ben. Yeah.
And the 4 and the 2 are going to go without changing tires.
Yep.
But there again, Felipe did what he thought he had to do for his driver to finish the race and be there at the end. And how can we second guess him? Because he did what he thought he had to do.
Yep.
Jeremy Mayfield getting ready to make his final pit stop coming down pit road. 6th place car, RCA DSS Ford Thunderbird. You saw that roof camera shot at 65 miles an hour, and Tony Furr and company waiting on Jeremy Mayfield.
It looks like that'll be fuel only, Jerry. Yep. Just put a can in and away they go. He had pitted on lap 140, so he has run 43 laps.
There's Marlin and Wallace. Once again, they had fuel only. And folks, take a look at this AutoZone off-track time stock comparing Ward Burton and Rusty Wallace. Both have 5 stops. Take a look at the difference in time, the total time off the racetrack. 35.8 seconds, 30.9. The next column, the best of the day. Rusty Wallace, that was his best stop of the day, and that's when he needed to have his best stop. 5 seconds better than Burton's best stop in total time off the racetrack. Maybe that's experience paying off a little bit for Rusty Wallace.
Of course, we also have the fact that Burton changed tires.
Yeah, Burton changed tires, and Rusty didn't.
Yeah, so that would certainly make a difference there. And it's 5 seconds on the race, 5 seconds in the pits, the difference, and that's about the difference on the racetrack right now.
And what is 5 seconds on the racetrack? Well, we're going to show you. There is Marlin and Wallace in 8th and 9th position, and the 10th place car there is Ward Burton's Hardy Chevy. And the 24 car headed for pit road. His final stop, DuPont Chevy, 5-time winner, and Bill Weber, he's headed towards you.
Lap 185. This is the NASCAR definition of splash and go. 3 seconds. Ray Abraham counts it off. 1, 2, 3. They get the high side, and there goes Jeff Gordon trying to win here at Michigan.
Splash of fuel, and Gordon puts it back in gear and drives it down pit road rather briskly, headed down to turn 1. 15 laps to go.
Here comes Rusty and Sterling Marlin by the start-finish line. So they're going down in turn 1 as Jeff Gordon comes off turn 2. Will Sterling and Rusty be able to catch him? It doesn't look like it. Looks like Jeff will be able to, once again, be able to drive away. There we see. There comes Sterling and Rusty. So Jeff Gordon will have the advantage on these cars. But Bobby Labonte says he's not going to stop.
Riding along with Rusty Wallace, he knows that laps are running out, and Bobby Labonte has got him right now where he wants him. The Interstate Battery Chevy is the leader. Back in a moment. And appropriately, we're riding along with Rusty Wallace because Shop Talk coming up next featuring Rusty Wallace. So hang around at the conclusion of our GM Goodwrench Dealers 400 with a little chat with Rusty. And Rusty currently running in 7th spot, but laps are running out, guys.
Yep, we got 10 to go when they come back. This time, Bobby Labonte still leading. 9 cars now being shown on the lead lap. There is Bobby Labonte. He's got about a 5-second lead over Bill Elliott, who is running in 2nd place. Terry Labonte has moved up to 3rd. He hasn't made a pit stop here either, but he's one of those that made a late pit stop. Ricky Craven has moved up to 4th. And Jeff Gordon, after his pit stop, is in 5th place. And then the other 4 cars on the lead lap are Sterling Marlin in 6th, Rusty Wallace 7th, Gordon Burton in 8th, and in 9th place is Bobby Hamilton.
And remember, Bill Elliott was one of the guys who pitted with 55 laps to go also, and Mike Beam wasn't real sure when they were going to make it all the way. So
actually, Jerry, he pitted 1 lap before Bobby Labonte did, so he had 56 laps to go, even though it was under caution, but who knows, that 1 lap could make a difference.
So he came in on lap 144. There's the 5 car, Terry Labonte. Our 3rd place car. And 4th place, car number 41, rookie driver, Ricky Craven. Larry Hendrick on the machine. Craven in 4th spot, some 19 seconds back. There's Jeff Gordon going by Craven for 4th position. We will change that and make Gordon the 4th place car, and Craven in 5th. Less than 10 to go here at MIS.
Lake Speed evidently is going to the pits. He's waving his arms vigorously to Jeff Gordon and Ricky Craven. So it's like he's going to be making a pit stop, or just going to tell them that he is, yes, in fact, he is going in the pits.
He's in 15th place, 2 laps down, Lake Speed.
And here's the 4 car and the 2 car, 6th and 7th. Sterling Marlin, Kodak Film Chevy is in 6th spot. Rusty's in 7th position. Both these cars are being shown a lap down. The 98 car is in 11th spot. That's Jeremy Mayfield and Michael Waltrip in 12th position. They are just 1 lap down to the leader, but they're traveling pole position on the racetrack with 7 to go.
And fans might wonder why we saw them make their pit stop. We saw others make pit stops who were in the lead lap and didn't go a lap down. Well, these drivers were about a half a lap behind the leaders when they made their pit stop, and then they changed right side tires, and so that put them a lap down. Just took a little bit longer down pits.
So just 9 cars on the lead lap.
Ricky Craven losing a spot to Sterling Marlin down in turn 1. And here comes Rusty Wallace. He'll also try to bypass him.
That moves Marlin up into 5th place now. Drops Craven to 6th, Rusty to 7th.
Craven still stands to get his best finish of the year here. There are only 9 cars in the lead lap, but his best finish at 10th, twice at Charlotte and Watkins Glen.
He's just trying to ride that thing out and say, man, please don't call for don't spit. Don't run out of gas over here these last few laps.
Looks like Sterling and Rusty are gaining on Jeff Gordon, especially Sterling. Sterling's put a little distance on Rusty Wallace, but it looks like he might be getting ever so close to Jeff Gordon.
And we've gotten word that Gordon is very, very loose. He apparently radioed the crew and said this car is sliding out here. It's quite a bit loose, so obviously he can't drive in as deeply as he'd like. Car number 18 has a Hendrick motor. That's their leader. That's Bobby Labonte. Rick Wetzel from the Hendrick Racing Stables takes care of the Joe Gibbs Racing engines. And so if you know how strong that motor is, I'm certain these guys do. There's the 18 car.
Mark Conquest, of course, goes along with through the races with and tunes the engine and all of that.
Here he comes. 4 to go this time.
This is the same race car that they used to win with at Charlotte back in May, and they won again just 4 weeks later here at Michigan, and they are holding their breath down in the Interstate Batteries pit.
Well, I can imagine Jimmy's wife, Patty, at home with one of those twins in her arms. Mark probably has the other one. Hey, I didn't tell their name. I'll get busted if I don't. Alex is the little girl, and Dylan is the little boy. Year-old yesterday.
Alex and Dylan got to be happy for their daddy. He's the crew chief on this machine. And the 94 car, Benny, is second place, and there he is.
Right now, he's just following Hutch Strickland, trying to draft all he possibly can. Does not want to run out of fuel.
Hutch Strickland being shown in 10th place. And yeah, he's just trying to conserve that fuel as much as he can. He can't catch Bobby Labonte as far as he's too far behind to catch him in these 3 laps to go. So it's just a matter of fuel. Can either of them make it? And Terry Labonte is in 3rd place. He hasn't stopped either. So the front 3 cars are stretching the fuel here. Jeff Gordon is 4th. If those 3 can't make it, Jeff Gordon would be back up front. But one of those 3 will make it. That's a prediction.
That's a prediction. 2 laps to go.
I believe all 3 of them make it. Now, I wouldn't believe it when they were making those pit stops.
And here's a pass for position. Ward Burton slides beneath Ricky Craven and takes a spot away. That's the 7th spot for Ward Burton. This will be his best finish of the year. His best finish previously had been 9th at Rockingham. But also be Bill Elliott's best finish of the year. Previously 4th at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Ward Burton has gained a lot on Rusty Wallace and Sterling Marlin since they made those pit stops, but he isn't going to have time to catch them. But he was about 5 seconds behind them. He's down to less than 2 seconds now.
And Bobby Labonte has taken the white flag. He's down in turn 1. Now then, will it last the rest of the way? Bill Elliott still is continuing on. In the McDonald's Ford, his car is still running. Oh, and Elliott's out of fuel. Elliott is out of fuel coming off the 2nd corner. So he will not make it, but he just lapped a half lap. So that means that Bobby Labonte should make it.
And Musgrave's behind him is going to try to push him and help him. You watch for Terry Labonte to go by. And I guess you're not allowed to push while the track is still under green conditions. But Musgrave right back there. Here comes Bobby Labonte to take the checkered flag. Labonte will win it. And now in 2nd spot, it'll be, looks like Terry Labonte in the 5 car.
And Jeff Gordon will pass him. The 4 car will pass Elliott as they come off of the turn. Rusty Wallace will pass him. Cost him a lot of positions.
Heartbreaker for Bill Elliott, trying to stretch it and made it to within a half a lap and couldn't quite hang on. But they got to be celebrating down there in the Joe Gibbs pit. Let's go to Bill Weber.
And the coach is celebrating with his team, his entire crew. His quarterback has brought them a big win. Coach, we call that a sweep, a season sweep. Congratulations.
Yeah, I tell you, hey, Lord bless us with a great crew chief. That was a great call, man. I tell you, Jimmy and Mark and everybody on the team kind of worked it out, and they said we could go 55. We'd be stretching, we could go 55. And hey, we just ribbed and blessed this whole year. Bobby is absolutely fantastic. Want to say hi to Norm and everybody back at Interstate there. Good job for Interstate Batteries. Hey, we love you guys and Shell, and thank you, Lord, for a great day.
And the coach has another win.
Bobby Labonte picks up his 3rd win of the year. It's the first win for Chevy in the GM Goodwrench 400 since 1984. Back with Victory Lane in a moment. Bobby Labonte climbs out in Victory Lane. Let's listen. Let's go down to John Kernan. John?
All right, if we can get around Larry Camp here in Victory Lane, this excited public relations man. Bobby, hey, congratulations. You own this place, don't you?
Well, I own about a foot over there, I guess, last 2. But, hey, man, this is great. You know, I never won a race till this year. Now, win 2 at one place in 1 year is awful great. You know, the Interstate Battery crew did a great job. And the car, I couldn't really pass nobody all day, so the thing to do was the right move by Jimmy Maycar. That was come in there with that last yellow, and they had trouble loading Rick's car up, so we gave it our last lap. We could come in and topped it off with fuel and put four good years on this Interstate Battery Chevrolet, and we just run a consistent pace. You know, I got to a point and I said, well, I'll just hold off right here.
Did you have any concern at all whenever Jimmy told you could make it those last 55 laps? Did it sputter at all on you?
No, I was letting off pretty early. Once I got by the 94 car, I was really taking it easy because I knew we had to conserve on gas. So, you know, it was just it's a great run. You know, we like I said, we didn't have the fastest car today, but we were able to get them there at the end by doing that on the coming in on get gas.
Hey, just like in Charlotte, your brother finished second again. That's got to be a pretty good day for the Labonte family.
Oh, really? That's great. Yeah, I didn't know that. So, well, that's good. These Cinder Cinders, they get good gas mileage, and Goodyear tires, Shell oil, Wicks, EDS, Champion, you name it. We got a lot of associates on this car. I probably missed a few of them, but they're all behind us 100%, and we're, you know, I'm a small part of this race team. Jimmy and all the guys, they do all the work, and it's a good race car.
A good race car, a good driver, and a good team all leads its way into victory lane today at Michigan, Jerry.
Bobby Labonte, Larry is Robert Tyler, his little boy, and wife Donna as they celebrate in victory lane. 33-year-old driver from Corpus Christi, Texas, picks up win number 3 in 1995. We'll be back with more in a moment. Our Speed World coverage of the GM Goodwrench 400 has been brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. We keep America running. By Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life, and by coal-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place. Beautiful scenery here in the Irish Hills, and let's go down to Bill Weber, who's caught up with our second-place finisher.
And this is Terry Labonte, another good run. Well, who's that guy that beat you this time?
I'm just getting old here. No, I tell you, Bobby did a great job, and the Kellogg Chevrolet ran good. We were off just a little bit. Gary and them made a kind of gamble there. We came in and pitted on that last caution late, got fuel, said it was going to be close, and ran out after I got the flag. Last 10 laps there, I was really trying to save fuel and just, you know, conserve some gas there so we'd have enough to make it. And it was close, and we made it.
A lot of guys in front of you in the points, Terry. Finished very early today.
Well, I'll tell you, last year we made a kind of a late season charge in the points, and we need to do it again this year. We're behind a little bit. We got a couple of positions we think we can gain on, so we're going to work on it.
Terry Labonte comes home second, and Hendrick Motors come home 1, 2, 3 up top.
Take a look at our final results. 9 cars finishing on the lead lap. The brothers Labonte finished 1-2. Gordon is third. Marlin fourth. A Chevy sweep of the top 4. Highest finishing Ford was Rusty Wallace in 5th.
And in 6th through 10th, Ward Burton, another Chevrolet, and Ricky Craven, another Chevrolet, and a Pontiac. With Bobby Hamilton finishing in 8th place, Bill Elliott wound up 9th after running 2nd, taking the white flag, but ran out of gas coming off of turn 2 and coasted around. Michael Waltrip finished in 10th place in the Pinfall Pontiac.
And we see Jeremy Mayfield. Good run for Jeremy. Finished 11th. Trickle, Hut Strickland, Jimmy Spencer, and D.O.D.W. back in 15th.
16 through 20, Morgan Shepherd, Lake Speed. Robert Presley, rookie driver, finishes 18th. Todd Bodine, 19th. And Mike Wallace finishes in 20th spot.
And in the 21st position, Elton Sawyer. In the Hooters Ford, 22nd, Jimmy Hensley came all the way back from 41st position. 23rd was Jeff Burton. And 24th, Kenny Wallace, who had a good qualifying run and wound up in here. And Dave Marcus came home 25th.
26th to 30th, Strader, Bodine, Musgrave, Grissom, and Rudd.
Back through 35th, we take a look at Mass, Nemechek, Dale Jarrett, who dominated early on here. Derek Cope and Dale Earnhardt finishes 35th, the same place he finished here in June.
Rest of the field, Brett Bodine, John Andretti, all of these drivers fell out of the race. Mark Martin, Bobby Hillen, and Greg Sachs. And 2 other drivers, Gary Bradbury, and Kyle Petty was the first out of the race.
Well, after 21 races, let's take a look at the quest for the Cup. The point standings are going to jumble a little bit. There is Jeff Gordon still hanging on. Sterling Marlin, Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt, and Ted Musgrave in the top 5, even though Martin and Earnhardt did not finish. Labonte, Wallace, Michael Waltrip, Bobby Labonte, and Bill Elliott rounding out the top 10. Taking back through 15th spot, Morgan Shepherd, Ricky Rudd, Bobby Hamilton, Dale Jarrett, and Ken Strader. And 16 through 20, Jeff Bodine, Derek Cope, DW, Rick Mast, Steve Grissom, And one more page through 25th spot, Brett Bonine, John Andretti, Dick Trickle, Lake Speed, and Ricky Craven. We'll come back and have a chat with Jeff Gordon when we come back to Michigan International Speedway. Stay with us. This guy right here charged from 21st to 3rd and close, but no cigar. Let's go to the pits.
Well, Jeff Gordon sits down and gets a nice cold drink. Jeff, not too bad a performance for a backup car.
Not bad at all. I told you the other day we don't have too many bad cars, and even our backups are ready and prepared, to go out there and try to win. And this is a pretty new car, and I got to admit, yesterday we weren't too happy. Things weren't going so well for us, and even though we qualified 21st, and we didn't go as fast as we wanted to, and man, these guys fought to get this car to be what it was today. And even when they went to throw the green, I was like, man, I have no idea what this thing's going to do. They dropped the green. That thing was a rocket, man. I was diving inside. I was having a lot of fun out there. And then we got up to about 7th or 8th and couldn't do anything more until we came in for a pit stop. And, guys did a great job. They had great pit stops. I was surprised to even be leading today, and especially to lead as many laps as we had. But, Dale Jarrett had a real fast car. I would like to have been able to got up there and race with him. We kept getting better and better, and unfortunately it came down to gas mileage there at the end.
All right, well, that's Jeff Gordon. And Jerry, he won at Bristol back in the spring. We were going back there next week, and they're bringing the same car, so he'll be tough again.
Indeed, he will be at Thunder Valley. A few post-race notes, BP. Darrell Waltrip made a pretty good move in the points.
Yeah, he moved from 21st to 18th. Ricky Craven, once again, the best finishing rookie. He finished 7th today. Great run for Ricky. And it was the 16th win for Chevrolet this season. Chevrolet, the Monte Carlo, has been awesome in 1995.
And lots of racing action coming up next weekend. Friday, live qualifying from Thunder Valley, Bristol International Raceway, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. And, of course, that's followed by our live flag-to-flag coverage of Busch Grand National Racing from Bristol, Tennessee, the Food City 200, ESPN. And, of course, Speedway coming up at 12:30 a.m. that night Eastern Time. Bob Jenkins, Gary Lee, and all the guys wrapping up all the racing action around the world. Saturday, NASCAR Today, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That's from Bristol, Tennessee as well. NASCAR Today coming up again at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. And then 500 laps on the high banks at Bristol, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Grand Prix racing, Formula One of Belgium, 7:50 a.m. Eastern Time. It's a weekend of speed on ESPN. Coming up next, don't forget Shop Talk with Rusty Wallace, who finished 5th here today. We'll have Rusty, and we'll talk about what's going on in Rusty Wallace's racing team and also what's happening toward the end of the year in Winston Cup racing. Once again, Bob Jenkins will be back next week. Glad to have you with us today. For John Kernan, Bill Weber, Ned Jarrett, and Benny Parsons, I'm Jerry Punch. Once again, congratulating on Bobby Labonte making it a Michigan sweep and picking up win number 3 in 1995.